people.
Visa rules, border officials can now cancel student work visas at any point of time. The row over the Nepalese student's death at KIIT grows. Nepal's human rights body now seeks probe into the death of the student, the Nepalese student at KIIT campus 10 days back. Now, can a single case impact bilateral relations between India and Nepal? We decode. Russian President Vladimir Putin offers Russia's rare earth metals to Trump. Kremlin says that it's open to economic cooperation with the US. Comes at a time when the US backs Russia's stance at the UN, and Trump says it's willing to now close a deal with Zelensky. Pakistan's Supreme Court is all set to hear Imran Khan's pleas regarding poll rigging of last year's February 8th general election. Supreme Court is set to hear the plea on rigging as well as the 9th of May violence on the 28th of February. Indian origin Vivek Ramaswamy enters the Ohio governor's race formally. The move comes after months of Ramaswamy's Torje exit, even as he gets complete endorsement from President Trump as well as Tesla chief Elon Musk. All right, the big story that we are tracking today is, well, the latest that's coming in as far as Canada is concerned. It has now come out with fresh measures to what it says is going to curb migration. It is also likely to have an adverse effect on tens of thousands of foreign students, including those from India. So what has really happened, viewers, is that Canada has now decided to tweak its visa norms, giving extraordinary powers to its policemen and to its law enforcement agencies to see if at all someone's visa needs to be revoked. There are specific conditions that have been outlined, but it adds to huge amount of uncertainty for those who are already there. It negatively impacts those who apply for work as well as resident permits. Canadian border officials now have sweeping powers, and it is their discretion that can actually decide whether work permits are temporarily or permanently cancelled, rejected, or are asked to in fact go back right away. So this adds yet another layer of uncertainty. Comes from a Prime Minister who's just weeks away from demitting office. He's already said that he's no longer going to be in the race. So why are such measures coming in just when he's about to step out of office is another concern and a question that we'll put forth. But first, let's tell our viewers how this impacts India. There are 4.2 lakh Indian students that are enrolled in Canadian institutions. These changes will impact several of them. There are aspiring students as well as workers who may face unexpected hurdles. There could also be delays. Processing time may take longer. And what happens if midway during your course, your visa is actually rejected? That adds to a whole new level of uncertainty that we are going to put forth, that we're going to try and address in this conversation. But first up, let's quickly put out those big questions that I want to now address in this conversation with the experts joining me shortly. First and foremost, this is Trudeau government's final blow to Indian immigrants. Why is this coming? Next, what's really driving Canada's new visa norms? What's the trigger for something that is so arbitrary, something that leaves everything to the discretion of law enforcement officers? And which brings me to ask the next question, which is that should border officials actually be allowed to have such sweeping powers? It's one thing to enforce, it's quite another to rely only on the discretion of border officials. And then how can Indian immigrants actually protect themselves from this kind of uncertainty? Because as I said, we're talking about lakhs of people here. Professor Swaran Singh joins me on the broadcast, and I also have an immigration expert, Nona Pez. Professor Singh, let me start by you. This comes at a time when there is enough and more uncertainty when it comes to immigration. But it also comes at a time when Justin Trudeau is set to demit office. What could possibly be his trigger to come out with something that's frankly very arbitrary in nature?
Thank you, Gaurie, for having me on your program. I think you rightly put it, the word uncertainty. the uncertainty, or I would say tensions in India-Canada relations for about last 2 years. And now the uncertainty unleashed by coming of President Donald Trump makes it particularly complicated and challenging, creating anxieties amongst all people who are Indian citizens or of Indian origin and now living in Canada in that sense. So this kind of current phase of starting new regulations, tightening up the process is triggered, of course, by the meeting between Justin Trudeau and Donald Trump, and Donald Trump threatening to impose 25% tariffs on Canada in case Canada doesn't tighten up its immigration or the flow of fentanyl opiate into United States. And that is the immediate trigger, but there is an ongoing process where Canada has completely mismanaged its immigration, which it first opened the doors, but it was not able to handle the flow of immigrants, leading to all kinds of internal crises, which triggered political crisis for Justin Trudeau as well. So, for example, last year only about 50,000 students could not join colleges on time simply because they were not given visas on time. And of these, about 20,000 were Indian students, forming about 5.4% of total student the community of Indians. A year before that, I was myself in University of British Columbia, and we used to hear about these stories from parents saying that their kids are not able to reach Canada in time because of various difficulties in visa process. So it's an ongoing thing which is getting further complicated now because of the added push from Trump administration. In which case, of course, India also stands to suffer partly because, as you know, over last 2 years there have been also firing of several diplomats on both sides. So one standard explanation
No,
for
but
India
Professor
always
saying this is not only for Indian students, right? So
yes.
you are talking about the relationship as if it is about only Indian students. No,
No, no, no.
it's about everybody. But
It's about
yeah,
it's
my
about
question to
everybody.
you was that why something so arbitrary in nature can actually be imposed and enforced?
I think that also again explains how in last 2 years we have seen Justin Trudeau taking decisions which stand to no logic absolutely, and that's how you remember his deputy prime minister had resigned, saying that he is initiating things that has them that make no sense for them. It's basically perhaps populism or sort of propitiating certain maybe communities or constituencies at home, but fundamentally also underlining the mismanagement of whole immigration process. And I agree that it's for all the people coming into Canada, but because Indian community almost forms 5% of foreign nationals, immigrants into Canada, India stands to also be very concerned about
Okay,
what is happening in Canada.
okay, Ms. Benz, if you were to advise students right now looking at Canada as a possible destination, what would your advice to them be?
See, right now, when we are looking at Canada, it is getting very difficult for the students to apply for the postgraduate work programs. And even many of them who have, who are graduating now, they might not even get the work, the work permits and all. Then they'll have to come back to the country. So as of now, Canada will not be a country that we would be advising our students to go into till the time there is more clarity on the policies of the post work permit programs. Because with the kind of power they have given to the Canadian border officials, most of the temporary resident visas, whether it is students or whether it is ETAs or it is TRVs, anything can be rejected or put on hold or altered. So this kind of a volatile environment, it is very difficult for the students to now get into Canada. And if they are in Canada and any time of point their visa is rejected, then there is no clarity on the education fees they have paid to the universities, the loans they have taken, the rentals, the deposits. There's no clarity to the parents and the students. So it is
Okay,
very volatile for them to go to Canada at this point.
okay, so it's volatile to go, but then that doesn't mean you don't go if you want to study there, right? It just means that you have to be more prepared.
Yeah, and you have
Professors,
to select the universities accordingly. So the universities which have a better standing, because there are different levels of universities that there in Canada. So they have become more stringent with the universities with the mediocre standing. But the top universities, yes, definitely they have more
okay,
liberal programs,
okay. There were
and they have also
20,000 more
institutionalized.
people who went to Canada this year as compared to last year. So there is a
Yeah,
growing number of over 4.2 lakh students who study there in Canada. So we're talking about a
yeah,
very large number of people. Professor Singh, I
yeah.
want to ask you this, that As someone who's been there, who's also someone who interacts with students so regularly, what would you say to all those youngsters who will be very uncertain right now because of the fact that it could be the local officer whose discretion may come in handy? And believe, and whether we like to say it or not, racism is a reality. What happens if you come across a racist law enforcement officer whose discretion and whose colored view could decide whether you stay on to complete your course or not in Canada?
I think fundamental problem here is that in any democratic country, you cannot suddenly unleash regulations where you authorize border officials to deny entry, deny visa of all categories with absolutely no opportunity for a legal recourse. What kind of democratic country we would look at where you do not have recourse to legal relief to anyone who's been suddenly denied his papers? But problem also in our case is, I agree with the fact that some of the celebrated institutions would stand slightly at a better position and will not be vulnerable to those, as you mentioned, racism and biases of people among border officials. But it's also true that I think we need also to be looking at lots of these virtually unregulated agents who are, around the world sending people to the first world or developed countries with enormous investment from their families, and therefore I think
Indeed.
that also creates temptation to break rules and then try to make sure they are able to get back some financial gains at end of
Okay, I am going to then
their
ask you
education.
another question before I get in Nona very quickly, which is that, what about the local sentiment right now? Canada is also going through its period of churn. The Conservative Party is gaining momentum. It is coming, or it is going to fight election on an anti-immigrant plank. Do you think it is Trudeau's last-ditch effort to try and, possibly gain some momentum with the local sentiment?
I think it's both placating to local sentiments, but much more placating to President Donald Trump, who's threatening 25% tariffs in case immigration is not regulated, and is blaming Canada for not controlling that kind of flow of drugs and so on. But it's also important to see that, by now Justin Trudeau should understand that at least for short-term future, his political career is finished. I mean, I don't think he's being endorsed by any number of people. His own party, his own people, his media, everybody is distancing or against him. And we will definitely see some change after elections, but the whole mood, fundamental problem for a common Canadian, whether he's an immigrant or citizen today, is that cost of living has gone up and that anxiety has gone up because of these whole media coverage of regulations of this nature. And that anxiety and cost of living going up makes them really much more sort of look at blaming on people who are coming from outside.
Now, you made a very valid point, sir, about the fact that this is some way of trying to placate Trump, given the fact that the Trump administration has been saying that Canada needs to work on its open border with the US, the northern border as it is called. Nona, now respond to the fact that there is now a sentiment that is both in Canada as well as in the US and several other parts as well. So what will be your advice to all those students, their parents, who would be wondering which are the avenues that are actually open now? And are there any other countries that you're going to advise them apart from Canada?
Yes, so what we do is we advise students for Australia, New Zealand, and then European. There are a lot of universities in Europe which are coming up, and they have become very popular with the students, especially with this crisis of US and Canada coming up. And earlier, what was the thing is that Canada was giving you a permanent residency. It was giving you a work permit of up to 3 years after your PG diploma or PG programs. But now with the scenario that is there, they're not even sure whether they'll be able to finish their education and what will happen to the fees that they have paid in the universities. Australia and Europe, New Zealand have become very favorite of many of our clients here.
Right, let's leave it there. Thanks much, both of you. Appreciate you taking out the time to join me on India Global. And on that note, viewers, we slip into a very short break. We come back with lots more stories on the other side.
What are you so happy about?
I've just made a claim. We could be owed thousands.
My Claim Group.
Yeah, the cars we bought on finance, well, the lenders could have charged hidden commissions. It's dead simple to claim.
Hey, I had 2 cars before we met.
Go to My Claim Group. You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from cars you bought on finance since 2007, even if you can't remember the details.
Done.
Simple, eh?
Go to My Claim Group now.
Claims made simple.
With Post Office Over 50s life cover, enjoy peace of mind knowing your family will receive a guaranteed payout when you're gone. UK resident 50 to 80, your guaranteed acceptance. No health checks and free 24/7 GP access with the health and wellbeing benefit. Purchase and receive a £125 gift card. Plus, get an extra £30 winter warmer cashback. Call Post Office on 0800 328 6666.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
Get that lucky cow feeling with luckycowbingo.com/bingo. The site that's bursting with beautiful bingo games. That's luckycowbingo.com/bingo.
Play the Great Big Lottery and you can help make more wins happen at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Like bringing fun to Rajveer's ward, discovering new treatments, and helping children go home sooner. Just call 0800 472 5774 or search Gosh Lottery to start playing for just £1. There's up to £10,000 up for grabs in our annual Super Draw, plus a £1,000 jackpot every week, and many more great cash prizes. So call or go online now for a chance to win big prizes and make more wins happen.
Do you need to borrow money for home improvements, a car, or paying off debts? Then you've come to the right place. Everyday Loans. Just tell us how much you want to borrow, up to £15,000. At Everyday Loans, we offer a service that's friendly and reliable. Apply online or on your phone. So whatever your credit record, apply now at everydayloans.co.uk. We recommend seeking free debt advice if you are taking out a debt consolidation loan. Representative APR 99.9%.
It goes around corners like that, rails, you know what I mean?
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah. I've actually noticed a little tappy sound there, I know where. Could be time for me to change the cam belt, actually, I think it is that.
Here you go.
I've got no idea where I got it from. Just came out of nowhere.
It's been going round at the moment, so you're not alone.
That makes me feel much better.
Shop 3 for 2 on vitamins.
Only thing that I focused on.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. We now turn our attention, well, to what's happening in Bangladesh. In a fresh war of words amidst the recent tensions in New Delhi and Dhaka relations, Bangladesh interim government's foreign affairs advisor, Tawhid Hossain, has in fact come out with some very scathing remarks, and he has said that speeches of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina is in fact adding fuel to fire in Bangladesh, completely in fact not owning up to any responsibility as to how things have fallen apart when it comes to Bangladesh. There has been a collapse of law and order as well as administrative machinery. But for Tawhid, what he has done is put the entire blame squarely on Sheikh Hasina and India by extension, because India has given refuge to Sheikh Hasina right now, who fled after that student revolution got extremely violent. The question that one needs to now answer is that as far as India is concerned, its relationship with Bangladesh is much more than just Sheikh Hasina. But at the same time, it's the same thing that Bangladesh's interim government needs to realize, that its relationship with India is much more than just about Sheikh Hasina. It includes focus on minorities, fixing law and order, and ensuring that the bilateral relationship survives the present turbulence. Shifting focus now to Pakistan, where in a relief to former PM of Pakistan, Imran Khan, Pakistan's Supreme Court will take up petitions filed by Khan seeking a judicial probe into the 9th of May violence last year and the alleged rigging of last year's February 8th general election. A 5-member constitutional bench of the Apex Court led by Justice Khan will conduct the hearing on 9th of May 2023. Violent protests erupted after Khan's arrest by paramilitary rangers from the premises of the Islamabad High Court. His party workers vandalized a dozen military installations, including the Jinnah House and several others in the ISI building in Faisalabad. The PTI leadership alleged that the 9th of May was planned. That entire incident was planned by its opponents. Khan had said that he was implicated in these cases related to the violence as a result of what he calls a well-orchestrated plan to harass him for political reasons. Remember, he's fallen out of favors with the army and the establishment. Remains to be seen whether he's going to get any reprieve here or not. All right, let's now turn our attention to well, a very important conversation regarding India-UK trade talks. They've resumed after a year-long pause. And joining me to talk more about that is the India-UK Business Council head. To understand what it means, Mr. Richard Held joins me on India Global to first, of course, dissect what it means in terms of possible fresh momentum that these trade talks have got after a hiatus. What do you think, sir, is the reason for that?
Well, I'm actually quite optimistic. I think that if you look at the build-up to the commencement of the trade talks yesterday, you'll see that there's actually been a momentum building. If you start at the technology security initiative that was announced last July, where there was agreement to work together on certain really quite important aspects of future-focused technologies. And then you look at also the meetings that took place at the G20 between our two prime ministers. Subsequent to that, there's been a number of meetings that have taken place both in India and in the UK between ministers. You can see that there has been a momentum building into the events of the past 24 hours, and also the negotiators are sitting in a room at the Ministry of Commerce and Industry right now. So yes, I'm optimistic.
Okay, these trade talks have been going on. There are some sticking issues, but what, according to you, are the deal breakers from the English side?
Well, I think the deal breakers, are there deal breakers? Well, that's a very good question. I'm not actually sitting at the table, thank goodness, but how I'm interpreting the situation is that we've got really as far as the negotiating teams can get. And now it's down to the politicians and principals to look at the areas that are still outstanding and have the difficult decisions as to where compromises have to be made and red lines have to be drawn. But I just get the impression that there aren't that many red lines. At least both sides are approaching the dialogue with the intention to try and find common ground and conclusions. So I'm not sure deal breakers is really the right word in where we are at the moment.
Okay, it almost seems like the world is trying to now Trump-proof themselves by coming out with these trade negotiations. Is that how you read it?
That's a very topical question. I'm trying to work out how I'm going to answer it. I think there's an element of that, but ultimately I think that this deal has been worked on for a number of iterations, a number of rounds have taken place. And I just think things are coming together in a way that makes sense. Yes, the background of President Trump being re-elected has had an impact basically on thinking around the world. Has that catalyzed or made people look at needing to do a free trade agreement? I think it's a factor, but I don't think it's actually the catalyst. I think the catalyst is down to the economic benefits that both India and the UK can obtain from having a successful and mutually satisfactory trade deal.
Okay, these trade talks are happening at a time where there's also going to be EU-India trade talks. So much is happening in Europe. How do you see that impacting overall global trade negotiations?
I think it will. And I say that because if you look at the economic situation that not only Germany is facing, which is unusual for them, they haven't been in this sort of situation for nigh on 40, 50 years, but also more broadly in Europe, and particularly if you want to compare the situation in Germany on on debt level to GDP to France, where it's significantly worse, then Europe itself is in difficult economic situation. And the stimulus and the increase in trade that would be generated by a trade deal between India and the EU is certainly something that I'm sure that the EU would welcome. So I think that clearly the election of the CDU as the largest party within a coalition that is yet to be formed, I think will facilitate discussions into a free trade agreement, and hopefully successfully.
All right, Mr. Richard Hill, thanks so much for speaking to me on NDTV. Let's see where these trade talks actually go this time around. Maybe it's third time lucky when these talks are concerned. All right, on that note, we slip into a very short break. We'll come back with lots more on the other side, including the latest in terms of the row over the Nepalese student death at KIIT. Stay with us.
We all know animals have feelings. They depend on kindness, just like you and me. So imagine how they feel when they're beaten, starved, and unloved. Every minute, the RSPCA is called on to save animals in physical agony and mental torment. It's unbearable to see the pain in their eyes. We refuse to give up on them, but to rescue them from a life of fear, we urgently need animal lovers like you to donate today. Please call 0800 121 4260 or text KIND to 84903 to give £2 a month to the RSPCA. Your gift will help fund more life-saving rescues, more emergency treatment, and more gentle rehabilitation. Every month, you'll be helping to keep animals free from pain and sadness, so they can find the comfort and joy they deserve. Right now, across the country, thousands are suffering deliberate harm. But together, we can show animals what kindness feels like. Together, we can rescue them. So please, call 0800 121 4260, text KIND to 84903, or visit our website to start your monthly donation today. Thank you.
Bingo lovers, it's time for a close encounter with Bingo Aliens. Visit bingoaliens.com/bingo for a cosmic range of bingo games. 75-ball bingo, even 90-ball bingo. All from a galaxy far away, direct to you. Taking bingo to another dimension at bingoaliens.com/bingo.
Bel canto. Beautiful song in Italian. It is also the name of our chiming watch, which resonated across the world when released just 2 years ago. Now, the new Bel canto classic reminds us that sometimes hearing is believing. The Bel canto classic by Christopher Ward. Do your research.
So why do broadband switchers choose EE? Because for just $25.99 a month, you get our most reliable full fiber at our best ever price with no upfront costs. So you can keep working while the kids nail dance practice or help them get that homework project off the ground. Plus, we'll even give you up to £300 towards your leaving fee. And we'll handle the switch for you. Get our best ever price before the 6th of March.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. We now turn our attention to, a story that has impacted bilateral relations or threatens to do so at least. 10 days since a Nepalese student's death by suicide in KIIT in Odisha caused uproar across both India and Nepal, the National Human Rights Commission in Nepal has now approached their Indian counterparts demanding an investigation into the alleged ill-treatment of that student at the hands of some officials at the private university in Bhubaneswar, demanding justice following the death of a BTech student from Nepal. So far, the Odisha government has ordered a probe into the case. NDTV's Prabhakar Kumar joins me from Bhubaneswar to really give us an update as to how things are looking right now. Prabhakar, first of all, explain to us how things are right now on ground. This is an issue that's not dying down. Far from it, in fact. There have been parallel reports that are coming in terms of what's happening on ground. Tell us the situation.
See, as far as the situation inside the campus is concerned, most of the Nepalese students who had actually been sent to their respective homes, they have returned back. And those who had not left, they are now inside their hostels, they have resumed their classes. So the administration of the KIIT University on its part, when they issued an order for the Nepalese students to vacate the campus, and immediately after which the Prime Minister of Nepal intervened, they immediately contacted all the parents and the students. They also held a Zoom meeting with them, and they were requested that the order was rolled back, and they were requested to come back to the campus as soon as possible, assuring them all help and no punitive action against them. So most of them, they have returned back. They have resumed their classes. As far as the investigation in this particular matter is concerned, remember when the Prime Minister of Nepal had intervened in this matter, he had posted on his X account. Then 2 officials from the Nepali embassy at New Delhi, they were flown in to Bhubaneswar. They were assisting the investigation as far as the local police is concerned. They were in contact with the authorities of the university, and they remained parked there for a few days. They ensured that all the students who had left, or especially from Nepal, they are back into the campus safe and sound. Now this is a fresh development in this case, where the Human Rights Commission of Nepal has been asked to inquire into it, and they are in touch with the National Human Rights Commission New Delhi for a further inquiry into this matter.
All right, Prabhakar, we leave it there. Appreciate you giving us that update. Let's now quickly put those big questions that I think we need to put out before we try and get answers to some of them in this discussion. The first is that can a single case impact India-Nepal ties? Of course, what happened with that girl was very, very disturbing and shocking, but let's not lose sight of the fact that it's a single case. The second question that we are, in fact, I'm going to put to the panel is that what special protections can be given to foreign students? What is it that can really provide them the kind of assurance that it is a single case and should not be seen in a larger context? The third key question that I'm posing today, in fact, viewers, is that should India launch a fresh probe? There are some allegations, there are some possible counter allegations. At the end of the day, there's uncertainty. Should we have a fresh probe? Let's put that out to Ambassador Ashok Sajjanar, who's joining me on the broadcast. K.S. Tomar, who's also someone who understands Nepal affairs very closely, is also with me on the show. Ambassador Sajjanar, the first question that I want to in fact address is that it's a very unfortunate case. We must get to the bottom of it, but we should never lose sight of the fact that it's a single case.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much, Gaurie, for having me on the program. You're very right. Our relationship is a very broad-based relationship. It's a very deep relationship. That having been said, there are elements who are want to fish in troubled waters. They have their own agenda. They will try to do that. So it is, but notwithstanding what these elements try to do, try to vitiate the atmosphere, I think what India really needs to do is, for its own sake, it needs to get to the bottom of this affair, which I think they are doing. The Ministry of External Affairs has got into it. The Chief Minister of Odisha has got into it. They are conducting inquiries, etc. And, as your reporter has also said, in my view, it is very reassuring that all the Nepalese students have come. There have been some instances, some arrests have taken place. So action is being taken against those who have committed mistakes. So I think it should, both sides need to collaborate, both sides need to cooperate, rather than, trying to sort of, fish in troubled waters, so to say.
Mr. Tomar, let me bring you in. Explain to us or talk to us about what exactly is the view in the Nepalese policy corridors. Because, if India is doing everything it possibly can, then why is it creating this atmosphere of mistrust?
Let me tell you very briefly that I've been in Nepal for Hindustan Times for 6 years. That was the transition of democracy in Nepal. So I've seen from the first hand. My experience is for 6 years. So I can tell you the question which you raised now is very, very important. Because first thing, we have to really create the confidence amongst the Nepalese students who are feeling scared now. So what I perceive is that when I was there, there were anti-India forces very active there. So it was Indian Foreign Ministry who used to really take the preventive steps. Now, the same thing may happen now. I don't know exactly how much active they are, but these nationalist forces may exploit it. And projecting it that Nepalese students are very unsafe in India, which is wrong. Because there are three takeaways from my assessment and analysis. First take that we must prepare the future action plan. That is, embassies or foreign ministries of both countries, officials should sit together and they must prepare the action plan for the security, for the removal of any chances of ill treatment, and then finally accountability of the institutions. As you know, in Nepal, there are not so many higher institutions.
You're right about all three of them, sir.
Travel to India.
You're right about all three of
Yes.
them. I'm just coming there in between because I want to address some of the other issues as well that I raised, and I'm going to give you a chance on that as well.
I was trying to tell, the other thing was that both the officials of Indian embassy and even Prime Minister of Nepal, KPS Oli has taken very appreciative step.
Exactly.
He has not escalated it. He's rather sent the message to Indian officials or Indian Foreign Ministry that let us tackle it. And the inquiry should be held impartially. That is what the first step should be there.
Exactly. And the Odisha Chief Minister is also raising. Just a second, sir. I have another follow-up question, and then I'm going to come in and get you a chance to respond to that. Ambassador Sajjanar, you mentioned about that some elements are trying to fish in troubled waters. Who are these elements, and who stands to gain that a single issue becomes wider in terms of a possible diplomatic escalation between India and Nepal? Who stands to gain?
Gaurie, relations between two neighboring countries are always very, very sensitive. So they have to be handled very carefully. Even when there are no issues, they can be the political, those who are, anti-Indian forces, they can, try to do something. What happened as far as the Lipulekh border was concerned, as far as, and it was made into such a big issue when a road was constructed, that there were 3 areas which Nepal then started claiming, and then they changed their constitution and they issued maps and issued coins, etc., etc. So I think we know that there are anti-Indian elements. KP Sharma Oli, who's the current Prime Minister, he does, resort to hyper-nationalism. Basically, last time he tried to do that to stay in power. I'm sorry. So we have to be very mindful of such elements and such forces. I'm very happy to see if the Prime Minister is behaving in a very responsible manner this time. We need to promote and encourage the responsible voices coming out of Nepal and do everything, leave no stone unturned, reach out to the Nepalese students so that they are able to send out a message also to their own people that, we are safe. Responding to your second question, what does India need to do?
Yes.
I think we really need to establish helplines in all such educational institutions.
That's a fantastic point you've made.
Yeah, senior person, put in place so that if there is any, because this young
See,
girl,
essentially it is about ensuring that the students have recourse, and I think that is the
Yes,
most
exactly.
important part. Mr. Tomar, you had a point to make, sir, quickly.
Yes, I was trying to tell you that when we, see this from an in-depth angle, then it is the communists who were there who were always inciting. But now they are in power. So there is no chance of any escalation now. And second thing is that we have got ages-old relations. So isolated incident cannot really swell up in a bigger one. And these anti-national forces or anti-India forces or so-called nationalist forces can be controlled by the Kathmandu government. It is their onus is on them. India has done maximum, arrested, as my colleague also said, and arrested the persons who were found, who may be found guilty. But main thing is that to recreate the confidence amongst the Nepali students who are in Bhubaneswar or have gone back to Kathmandu. So it is the duty of, and especially when Nepalese embassy in Delhi, officials have already rushed to Bhubaneswar. So they are already at work. So similarly, Indian officials should also join them. And if need, delegation of the officials should go to Kathmandu also. And Indian embassy in Kathmandu should cooperate and counsel on the students that they are safe. And this is an isolated incident which should not be allowed to swell up and allow the anti-Indian forces, which are not in plenty now, because communists are in power.
Let's leave it there.
That is what I feel, that both sides are doing well. There is nothing to settle the score. So that way, the Indian foreign ministry and Nepalese foreign ministry, they are working in tandem. That
leave
is
it there,
very,
sir.
very important.
Thank you so much for taking out the time, both of you, and joining me on a very sensitive
Thank you.
issue.
Very nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
A very sensitive issue, and well, bottom line, viewers, is that this is a single isolated incident, one where a Nepalese student may have been wronged. But this is what I want to say to all those young Nepalis wanting to study in India. There are over 13,000 Nepali students studying in India, comprising 28% of the total international students in India, requiring no special visa, just a valid travel document. That's how India embraces its Nepali students. And post-studies, if you want to find employment in India, we have never discriminated against you. All you need is appropriate visas that are required for working. So a single isolated case cannot be the benchmark to make broad, sweeping statements about India-Nepal relationship. And as far as this case is concerned, the conduct of the private university has been shocking, and the government must first act against the university and then ensure that it provides assurances to international students, particularly those coming from Nepal. All right, on that note, we slip into a very short break. More on the other side. Stay with us.
Play the Great Big Lottery and you can help make more wins happen at Great Ormond Street Hospital. Like bringing fun to Rajveer's ward, discovering new treatments and helping children go home sooner. Just call 0800 472 5774 or search Gosh Lottery to start playing for just £1. There's up to £10,000 up for grabs in our annual Super Draw, plus a £1,000 jackpot every week, and many more great cash prizes. So call or go online now for a chance to win big prizes and make more wins happen.
I'm a simple man, but now I'm in my 50s, things are getting a little more complicated. Retirement's peeking around the corner, and I wanted to make sure my family would be really looked after if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today.
They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period.
Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life.
Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk
talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over-50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either.
Now I'm with Cover Today, I can get on with something much more interesting.
Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card. To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0808 143 4774 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
At Tesco Mobile, unlock even better phone deals with your Club Card. Get our 30 gig SIM for just £12.50 a month with Club Card prices, saving you £30. Better yet, your Club Card lets you unlock more than just great deals, like frozen prices and no EU roaming fees until the end of your contract. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
Who doesn't love a good deal?
Meal deals.
Be rude not to deals. Seal deals? Or a bit of deal or no deal? We've got free-to-play deals with no deposit required. And up to £1,000 to be won every day. Get that good deal feeling only at Tombola.
Sign up and start saving with Quidco today. Get cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco.
Welcome back. You're watching India Global. We now turn our attention to Indian-American billionaire and former Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, who could quit Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency last month and has now formally entered the race for the Ohio governorship post. In an official announcement of his run for the Ohio governor, Ramaswamy said that he's honored to officially announce his candidacy to serve as the next governor of Ohio. Ramaswamy shares close ties with Donald Trump, but he will have his task cut out with top Republicans set to put their hat into the ring. Republican Dave Yost, Ohio's Attorney General and former state auditor, have already announced that they will be bidding for the election that is likely to draw other GOP contenders as well. From the Democrat side, former Ohio Health Director Amy Acton is also in the race. But one thing is for certain, with the president backing him and with Elon Musk backing him and throwing their weight behind him, this could be a tough and a very interesting contest for all candidates. Listen into what Vivek Ramaswamy had to say.
I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio. President Trump is reviving our conviction in America. We require a leader here at home who will revive our conviction in Ohio. And that is why today I am honored to announce that I am running to be the next governor of a great state at the heart of the greatest nation known to mankind, the state where I was born and raised, the state where Apurva and I raise our two sons today, a state whose best days are still ahead. I am honored to announce my candidacy to serve as the next governor of the state of Ohio. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to start and grow a new business. I will lead Ohio to be the top state in the country to raise a young family.
All right, a day after the third anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war, there are fresh updates coming in. Russian President Vladimir Putin has offered the U.S. access to rare minerals, including from Russian-occupied areas in the Ukraine. Putin has, in fact, offered the U.S. the opportunity for joint exploration of the country's rare earth metals deposits, if of course, Trump showed any interest. Putin said that Russia has significantly more resources of this kind than Ukraine. There's almost like a competition that is going on between Russia and Ukraine as to who can offer a better deal to Trump, in the hope that when a possible negotiated settlement comes, that U.S. brokers, it favors them more than the other side. Remember, earlier it was Trump who told reporters in Washington that major economic development transactions with Russia would take place And he also, of course, spoke about the fact that Zelensky would be coming to the Oval Office sometime next week to sign another possible agreement related to rare earth metals. So it's all about who offers a better deal to Donald Trump ahead of a possible negotiated settlement for ending the war.
Мы, кстати говоря, готовы были бы предложить и американским нашим партнерам, когда я партнеры говорю, имею в виду не только административные, правительственные структуры, но и компании, если бы они проявили интерес к совместной работе. У нас, безусловно, на порядок, я хочу это подчеркнуть, на порядок больше ресурсов подобного рода, чем в Украине.
All right, we are now turning our attention to a very interesting and important area, well, which is black holes, one of the most mysterious objects in the universe, since not even light escapes from its grip. Indian-born astrophysicist Professor Natarajan, who works at the Yale University, hunts for black holes and then an even more enigmatic dark energy and dark matter. NDTV science editor Pallava Bagla spoke to Professor Priyamvada Natarajan, who made it into the Time magazine's most influential listing for seeing the unseen. Take a look.
There are lots of mysteries in the universe. One of them is understanding dark energy, dark matter, and black holes. I have with me a specialist on that, Professor Priyamvada Natarajan. She works at the Yale University in the United States of America. Thanks a lot for speaking to me, Professor Natarajan.
Thanks for inviting me to talk to you.
What is dark energy, dark matter?
Dark energy and dark matter are the invisible components of the universe that are very, very significant in what they do in the universe, the role that they play. So the matter that we are made of, the visible matter, everything in the periodic table, is a mere 4% of the inventory. 26% of the total inventory of the universe is dark matter. We believe it's a particle that was made in the early universe. We are yet to find it. We know it interacts gravitationally. Dark energy, on the other hand, is what we believe powers the accelerating expansion of the universe that was discovered only in 1998. So with these three entities, that's the full inventory. And sadly and surprisingly, we know very little about 96% of what is out there.
From dark holes and dark matter to artificial intelligence, take a look at this conversation I had with Google's AI Innovation Lab DeepMind's Vice President Pushmeet Kohli on what AI can possibly do for mankind. Why is that lingering fear there about, will this replace most jobs? I mean, and how does one address that lingering doubt about a tech breakthrough?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to think about the new generation of AI models is that they have cognitive abilities. They are able to solve cognitive tasks. Now, if you think about the history of technology, when calculators came out, right, there were people who used to do those very cumbersome mathematical sort of calculations, which now did not need to do them by hand, but could use calculators. So in the same way, there will be certain types of tasks and certain types of activities that these models will be able to do. And I think the right thing that we will need to do is basically figure out how should we leverage them, and then the productivity gains that we get, how do we then invest those productivity gains towards solving newer problems? So if there are people, if we have more time now because we are more productive and we have access to these tools, the thing that society needs to ask itself is to how do we take on that extra amount of productivity that we have, and where should we focus it? Okay, and the answer that I would like that I would propose is basically there are so many challenges that we are facing. In fact, we should be thinking about using any sort of our brain power that we can get towards those things.
I would probably see this that the era of generalists may be over and the era of experts may probably be dawning upon us. But let's now look at some of those specifics in terms of first and foremost life sciences and medical research, simply because of the impact on humanity may be just so intense. and life-changing. How do you see that? You've also done a lot of work in that area, whether it is about pandemics or whether it's about cures or prevention. How do you see what has been achieved so far? And if we can do some sort of a crystal ball gazing as to what are we really looking at in terms of outcomes for the future?
Yeah, so I think biology is going to be an area which is going to be transformed by AI. And I'm not a biologist by training, I'm a computer scientist, but my first experience of working on a biology problem came 7 years back when we started working on the protein structure prediction problem. So proteins are essentially the building blocks of life. They are essentially the Lego pieces that make you and me. And yet scientists do not know what is the shape of these proteins, even though they are crucial in our understanding of how the human body works, how life works, how diseases can be treated, and so on. What we tried to do with AI was we tried to solve that problem, and our solution, the AlphaFold 2 system, was considered the breakthrough system for and a solution of this problem, and has recently won the Nobel Prize for that work.
Yes.
What it allowed scientists to do now is basically make predictions about these structures, just unlocking and uncovering the vast space of biology and giving sort of people much more agency in terms of accelerating drug discovery, developing sort of better vaccines, sort of even supercharging sort of work on developing enzymes that can fight things like plastic pollution. So that is just one area of understanding the structure of proteins, the building blocks of life. Now think about that in the context of understanding our genome.
Yeah.
Like what happens, how are we different in different ways? What does that mean in terms of our susceptibility to certain types of diseases?
Yeah.
So the amount of information and knowledge that can be uncovered using these techniques is just immense.
I'll fix him, love. Poor pet. Just shows you never know what's going to happen. Which reminds me, I need to protect the life we've built. That's why I'm looking into smart family life insurance. Hi, I'd like a quick quote, please.
OK. You can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000, depending on your age. If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And it could help my husband with the mortgage.
Just like families, not all life insurance is the same. That's why we offer the Smart Family Guarantee.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cash back on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you'll also get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0800 977 5753 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
What are you so happy about?
I've just made a claim. We could be owed thousands.
My claim group?
Yeah, the cars we bought on finance, well, the lenders could have charged hidden commissions. It's dead simple to claim.
Hey, I had 2 cars before we met.
Go to My Claim Group. You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from cars you bought on finance since 2007, even if you can't remember the details.
Done.
Simple, eh?
Go to My Claim Group now.
Claims made simple. Love a good deal? Try free to play Deal or No Deal, only at Tombola. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Get that good deal feeling. Open for fun.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
In People's Postcode Lottery's March draws, you could win a share of £15.6 million. For the chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 28th of February.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to the Southern View. I'm Veera Raghav. Our focus this evening is the DMK setting the narrative for 2026 in Tamil Nadu with the UGC, NEP and the latest offensive on delimitation. But first, let's take you through the headlines that we're tracking this hour. Starting with actor Preeti Zinta's she takes on the Congress's Kerala unit for claiming she had gotten 18 crore rupee loan from the crisis-hit New India Cooperative Bank, written off by quote-unquote giving her social media accounts to the BJP. Zinta says the loan was paid back in full over 10 years ago. Legal reprieve for Lakshya Sen as the Supreme Court stays coercive action against the badminton player in the age fraud allegations against her. The CAG report pointing to 2,000 crore rupees lost to the Delhi government may now go to the Parliament's PAC. It will spark off more politics. Well, our focus this evening, even as the confrontation over the national education policy's three-language principle heats up in Tamil Nadu, Chief Minister of the state, M.K. Stalin, fired another salvo at the centre today over the proposed delimitation exercise and the consequence it has to the state. So with the UGC controversy, the NEP and the delimitation issues, is the DMK setting the tone for its 2026 campaign? Sam Daniel sets up the discussion this evening.
The DMK student wing took to the streets across Tamil Nadu, building its offensive over what it has called Hindi imposition by the centre in the garb of three-language policy of the NEP.
The education system we follow is don't impose Hindi. Even without the Hindi, we have proved in the past, we are proving currently, even today.
Despite the centre's categorical rejection of Hindi imposition, the DMK seems to have virtually declared the narrative that it will set for the 2026 assembly polls. Even as the NEP confrontation plays out, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin declared another attack on the centre over delimitation of parliamentary seats. He has now called for an all-party meeting to discuss delimitation, all of it playing to the DMK's narrative of the state's interest under threat and projecting itself as the only force for defending Tamil Nadu.
தென்னிந்தியாவுடைய தலைக்கு மேலே ஒரு கத்தியை தொங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. இதனால் தமிழ்நாட்டுடைய குரல் நசுக்கப்படுது. இது வெறும் உறுப்பினுடைய எண்ணிக்கையை பற்றி கவலை மட்டும் இல்லை, நம் மாநிலத்துடைய உரிமையை சார்ந்தது என்பதை நாம் மறந்துடக்கூடாது.
The BJP has been keenly defending itself against the DMK's offensive. It even launched a signature campaign. But it faces trouble within its own ranks, as a party leader, Ranjini Nachiyar, quit the Tamil Nadu BJP, protesting language imposition.
From northern India, our sisters and brothers are traveling.
So it is railway station. Railway is connecting all the states from north to south. What authority you have to erase that Hindi words?
Call it Hindi imposition or a fixed mindset. The heated exchange over language brings back memories of the anti-Hindi agitation in the 60s. Politically, with elections due next year, the ruling DMK is upbeat that this would bring political dividends. But the BJP, that has a negligible presence in the state, could run the risk of further isolating itself because of its tough stance, be it need, disaster relief, or now language. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க. தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் யார் சொல்லணும்? நிச்சயமா விட்டுடுது. அதுக்கு நாங்கள் தயாராக இருக்கிறோம்.
Well, so is this setting the narrative for the 2026 campaign? Is language and the center versus state battle a more powerful narrative than potentially anti-incumbency and governance issues like law and order in Tamil Nadu? Joining me this evening, Dr. Syed Hafizullah of the DMK. Two Narayanans on the show today. Narayan Tirupati of the BJP and Narayan Lakshman, senior journalist of The Hindu who follows Tamil Nadu very closely. Also with us this evening, political analyst from New Delhi who follows the southern states very closely, Vipulla Rao. Thanks to all four of you for joining me this evening. My first question to you, Dr. Syed Hafizullah. The insinuation is that these are purely politically motivated protests, especially on the NEP issue, primarily the DMK trying to set an electoral narrative to combat anti-incumbency and governance issues.
Absolutely, I deny all the charges regarding this because it is not the DMK which is initiating all this protest. It is just a reaction to how the union government is treating Tamil Nadu. Right from the UGC regulation or the imposition of a third language in the national education policy, the following comments by the union education minister saying that the constitution is same for the entire country and Tamil Nadu should be forced to accepting the third language formula. These are the statements which made the DMK, it's not only the DMK, but the entire Tamil Nadu, except for the BJP, which stands solitary in this issue, are unified in this call of NEP or the three language formula or the UGC. In fact, even the allied partner of the BJP are opposing the NEP, the three language formula. Hence, it is not right to say that we are setting the narrative. Rather, it is a counter to the narrative and the forceful dictatorial behavior of the union government that we are reacting. Today's issue of the delimitation is also a legitimate concern, legitimate expectation of the government. We see when it comes to devolution, we are already in shortage of funds, and we have time and again we have been given a lot of regulations to follow just to get the rightful demand of funds that we have been getting for 20 years. So hence it becomes important for the government of the day of Tamil Nadu and the leading political party in Tamil Nadu to stand for it, right? So it is inappropriate. Rather than calling our protest as a narrative setting, BJP should introspect on why they are isolated, why they stand in isolation regarding such issues. This is not the voice of the DMK, but it is the voice of entire Tamil Nadu, except for the BJP.
Okay, Narayan Tirupati, respond to that. The BJP finds itself in a spot. The BJP has put itself into a corner on all these issues and has handed the DMK issues, which are both emotive and political in nature, for it in the state. That's what the DMK spokesperson is saying, and some analysts may agree.
In this issue, the entire public are with the BJP in Tamil Nadu. We need to. I am very strongly saying this because the policy, what they say, the two language policy, they say it is in Tamil Nadu in force, is not correct. There is a three language policy for 50 to 60% of the students. The private students private CBSE students or matriculation, they all teach 3 language. And out of this, even including the first family of DMK, Sunshine School, it is the third language, particularly Hindi is being taught. And whoever today, they went to Sangaran Govil, they had, black post this Hindi word, everything. That person's children also studying in, Hindi, they're studying in a Hindi subject they have in their school. So this is the issue. You talk about social justice. Social justice is what equal to everyone. In Tamil Nadu, there is no policy. Policy for 2 language is only for the poor rural government school students. The wealthy students are the businessmen having their professional education, including the DMK people, including Mr. Stalin's family, including Morgan's family. Everybody, they are charging huge by teaching 3 languages. If this if Hindi or the third language is taught in government schools, then they cannot do their business. That is the reason the DMK is opposing this. I am telling you, very clear question, Virag. Is it your policy? If it is a policy for Tamil Nadu, Hindi should not be, or third language should not be there in any of the schools, whether it is private or government, what is there? But this is only for the poor rural government school. That is why Udayanidhi Stalin said, why third language are for them? We are giving food and free uniform. That is what Udayanidhi Stalin said.
Okay, I will get a response from the DMK spokesperson, but Narayan Lakshman, one of the irony of this debate is that the principal opposition party in the state, the AIADMK, doesn't seem to be the one which is opposing the DMK on this issue, or the DMK taking the AIADMK on. Unfortunately, when we tried to get some AIADMK spokespersons, they weren't available today. In fact, one messaged me saying, sir, TV debates are for BJP and DMK. Real politics is for us on the ground in Tamil Nadu. Is this language and this optics going to be really the dominant narrative, the center state battle, the dominant narrative in 2026? Because it was in some sense the narrative in 2019, in 2021 and in 2024. Does it seem to be emerging as the primary dominant narrative, A, and B, does it still have strong electoral resonance in a state like Tamil Nadu?
Absolutely, Virag. I think your question goes to the heart of Tamil Nadu politics and how it has evolved over more than 5 decades, half a century, since the Dravidian movement fundamentally changed the landscape and gave the Dravidian parties, both the DMK originally and then both DMK and AIADMK in alternate succession and power, it gave them that sense of dominance. And that dominance was very much built on language as a core issue. There were several other core issues, obviously, and they're all linked. One of them is state autonomy. So, rule making from Delhi, a faraway Delhi, which was, associated with Hindi, with upper caste, with North India, and considered quite removed from the interests of the Tamil people. To fight against that, to secure the rights of this state and its people against a domineering New Delhi and its politics, has always been the underlying theme and has continued to dominate every election here in some form or the other. Indeed, it's quite ironic that the BJP actually, in trying to, find a foothold, a small chink in the armor of the Dravidian parties and get its way in, is actually tacitly acknowledging the importance of language when it launches this kind of full frontal attack in terms of the NEP and forcing it, without any, significant level of discussion with the state leaders. So the BJP is therefore very much aware that it has to win the hearts and minds of people through such issues as language, on issues as state economy, for example, touting the benefits of double engine growth, the double engine model and so forth. So you're going to see these as the dominant themes, and among them, language definitely stands out because it is also linked to cinema, it is linked to poetry, it is linked to the language of the Dravidian movement, which was basically a social revolution of sorts, which changed the state.
Right, you're making an important point there. Remember, there is an emotive narrative as well as bread and butter issues which play out separately. Before I get to Mr. Pullarao to get the larger national context of it, very briefly, Narayan Tirupati, one of the problems is that virtually every party in Tamil Nadu seems to be on another tangent. The BJP is on another tangent. Is there a reflection within, and is there a question of recalibrating as far as this issue is concerned? Isn't there a worry that it could become even difficult for local regional parties to ally with the BJP?
No, Raghav. See, I'm telling you, there are two things. In 1960s, when Hindi education was there were no private schools. Nobody was learning, the third language anywhere in Tamil Nadu. Today, the scene is totally different. More than 50% of the Tamil Nadu students, Tamilians are learning a third language in their schools. So the policy of two language or three language is diluted. We have to understand this. So again and again, I'm telling you, this two language policy, what they are saying is only for poor rural students. That nobody answers. It is really unfortunate that a person like a senior journalist like Mr. Narayan Lakshman is saying about that it's a tradition, Dravidian tradition. All those things are really not right. Number two, when the three language formula was introduced way back in 60s, again Hindi was a compulsory
Let me
language.
get Syed to respond to that. Syed, Narayan Tirupati's charge is that CBSE and upper class. Okay, go ahead, quickly.
See, in 60s, when three languages formula was introduced, Hindi was compulsory. Also in 86, when the Rajiv Gandhi introduced this. But now, Hindi is not a compulsory language. Now, NEP says a third language. That is why we are saying DMK is playing very bad. Yeah.
This is not imposing Hindi.
Okay, Syed Hafizullah, respond to that. Respond to what Narayan Tirupati said.
Yeah. First, I am telling you, I don't know from where the BJP spokesperson comes up with the data saying more than 50% of the people are learning third language. No, that is not factually wrong. Just because there is a private college, just because there are private schools, that doesn't mean there is a three language formula. That's a lie that has to be spoken out. Second point, see, you're talking about education. Sir, private hospital gives a lot of vaccines for the private students. I'm coming to private schools. There are swimming classes, there are archery classes, there are boxing classes, there are fitness classes, and a lot more. So are you going to include everything in that? That is totally different business perspective.
Why not?
Sir,
why not? What business subject?
Please,
see,
it's my time
that
to
is
talk.
what I'm saying.
It's my
you
time
people
to
have
talk.
made
It's my
education
time
as business. Now you got into the trap. You got into the trap.
A senior spokesperson like that should not behave like this. Be respectful of you.
You got into the trap.
Of the BJP to behave. Interrupt on other times. I gave you time. I never interrupted. I expect basic manners from senior BJP spokesperson like you. What is wrong? You give funds first. You're not giving funds for the RT.
Go ahead, Syed Hafizullah. Finish your point.
And we're talking all this. This is a totally different scenario. Go to Kendra Vidyalaya schools. Before lecturing about three language policies. I am coming to your own time. Private business is nothing. It says that students in the schools are struggling all over India to learn their mother tongue.
I'm not able to hear.
Okay.
Students in the school education system.
Okay.
Trying to keep students in the school education system. Make effort for that. Coming up with this three language formula. Making it politicizing.
Okay. Quickly, sir.
And it is the DMK which is bringing this issue and taking the place of the
Narayan Tirupati, 10 seconds to respond.
Imposing. You are imposing the third language against the wishes of the people of Tamil Nadu.
Abhisul is asking for funds. We are not giving funds for any private schools, for Sunshine or other schools running by DMK members.
No.
Who stopped you from giving all these things to government school students? You say you are giving free food and free uniform. That is what Udayanidhi Stalin says. That is what we are saying. You have destroyed the
10 seconds, Syed Hafizullah. I need to go to
the government schools.
Respond to what Narayan Tirupati is saying quickly. 10 seconds.
Giving uniform,
and then I'll have to go to Pullarao. Syed Hafizullah.
Uniform and breakfast and food is to bringing students into the school education system who are downtrodden, who are finding it difficult to stay in the school education system. These are the efforts that the Tamil Nadu government is doing, making the school education accessible, making the school
both of you
education
have made
easy so that people from the oppressed community come and
Okay, both of you have made points.
Rather, this three-language formula is going to exclude people
All right,
from
both
the
of you have made the point. Both of you have made points. Sorry, 1 second, Saeed Hafizullah. Hold on. Let me get Pullar Rao into this. So, Pullar Rao, this kind of a fierce debate, obviously language is a very important issue even in states like Andhra and Telangana. This kind of a fierce debate and this kind of an opposition to the NEP and other issues doesn't seem to be playing out in the other states. What is it that's so peculiar to Tamil Nadu that allows issues of this nature to evolve into a confrontation so powerful?
Well, you know the old saying, 200-year-old saying, the more things change, the more they remain the same. You know, definitely the same subject is very important to Tamil Nadu. Nothing has changed. Mr. Narayan Tripathi was talking about 1960. Yes, Tamil is a very important language issue. It's not simply a language issue. Tamilians are very proud of Tamil. I've never, you know, it is something so primary to them. I may take the risk of saying it's more important than caste, diet, and religion. They have a special affinity which is not there anyway. And it has been there for quite some time, since our memory. And therefore, they definitely feel they have to protect it. There is an old language, classical language, all of that is there. So they're very what you call possessive of their rights. And there's nothing wrong to that. They like their language. It's an Indian language. It's enriching India. It's enriching Indian civilization. What's wrong with it? If they feel so strongly about it, why not discuss it? Why not the government of India step down or step up and discuss it? Why should they say we won't give you money unless you accept it? Is this the attitude? The state government, any state government, has made a certain statement, certain stand. You should discuss it. That's what the federal system is. You have all the powers. You can amend it. You can take people along. Isn't politics about taking people along? Who needs anyone to make? We don't need robots to make lines. You do this or you don't get it.
Right.
We need ministers, politicians who will talk. And I'm very sorry to say that the government of India can talk, can settle this issue, keep everybody happy, and move on. Why are they not doing that? That's the most, say 3 language, 2 language. Talk to the government. Talk to the state government. It is on power. It represents the people.
You're making a No, right, you're making a strong point there, but I want to bring this discussion back to where we started, and Narayan Lakshman, finally to you on this. In a sense, every sort of electoral agenda has its shelf life. Given that Tamil Nadu's 2026 election could well become about arithmetic, given that the entry of Vijay, where the AIDMK stands, is also a question mark on these issues, do you believe that the larger theme of the center-state confrontation in an assembly election would be as potent for the DMK in combating anti-incumbency and governance issues? Or do you believe that this is just for the larger optics? They will have to do a lot of grassroots work as far as 2026 is concerned.
You set it up very interestingly right at the start of this discussion, Viragha, when you said that, there are these issues which are highly emotive, but there are also bread and butter issues. So one really has to ask, how have the emotive issues such as language and center-state autonomy and questions of federalism evolved over the years? And in asking that, we're also asking, how has the Dravidian movement itself evolved over the last 50 plus years? And the answer is that it has changed because today, given social media, everybody wants jobs, everybody wants governance, everybody wants to be able to feed their families, and that's what's important. So I think the DMK in the next election is going to have to very carefully balance these rhetorical, emotional questions with what it is actually providing in terms of governance and jobs on the ground.
Okay. Thanks very much there, Narayan Lakshman. I'm sorry, Mr. Pullar Rao, we simply have completely run out of time. Thanks to all 4 of you for joining us this evening on the Southern View. We'll keep this conversation going. It's an important issue as we run up to 2026, but that's all we have time here on the show. News and updates continue on NDTV.
Visit bingoaliens.com/bingo for a cosmic range of bingo games, taking bingo to another dimension at bingoaliens.com/bingo.
Find a pet-friendly Italian restaurant with outdoor seating nearby and text it to Luca.
find it real quick. Send it to the click. Wow, the place is sick.
Get the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra with Galaxy AI for just $56.99 a month with club card prices. It pays to be connected. Search Tesco Mobile. Every little helps.
I like to think ahead. Make sure I've got all the right tools for the job. And now that I've turned 50, it means looking after what I've built. I'll be retiring down the line, and with the mortgage nearly done, I want to make sure that my lot will be protected if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler and can be done in just a few minutes. Go online or talk to one of their friendly UK team who will chat you through your options in just one phone call. And their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor. With fixed monthly payments, prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4322 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
What are you so happy about?
I've just made a claim. We could be owed thousands.
My Claim Group?
Yeah, the cars we bought on finance, well, the lenders could have charged hidden commissions. It's dead simple to claim.
Hey, I had 2 cars before we met.
Go to My Claim Group. You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from cars you bought on finance since 2007, even if you can't remember the details.
Done.
Simple, eh?
Go to My Claim Group now.
Claims made simple.
When I woke up, they said, Alyssa, you've got leukemia. We found out that the chemo wasn't working. So at that point, it was like, I'm gonna die. My consultant was looking for these clinical trials, and she found this one at Great Ormond Street. I'm cancer-free now.
Curing Alyssa was a world first, but cancer is still the biggest killer of children in the UK. Will you help us do more? Search Gosh Care to give £3 a month and help build a new children's cancer centre at Great Ormond Street Hospital, a home for breakthrough research with world-class facilities to help beat cancer for more children. Together, with your kind support, we can help save lives and transform children's cancer care for decades to come. Text CARE to 70125 to give £3 a month and help build our new children's cancer centre. Together, we can beat cancer for more children. Another huge theme in the book, of course, is friendships, various friendships. But let's start out early. Your closest friend was Kent. And you associated with him, you got on very well with him, you found him to be similar with, in many ways with you. You went on long cruises with him. And then you lost him. And you write, I had retreated into myself, watching a slideshow in my mind's eye, taking through images of recent days, grasping for evidence that what I had heard wasn't true. He died tragically. Could you tell us a little bit about the loss you felt?
Yeah, my childhood really only had this one traumatic event in it. I'd had grandparents die, but at a pretty old age, and I'd never even contemplated the idea that somebody close to me, not to mention my very best friend, would just be killed. He had signed up for this mountain climbing class that both he and I and his parents that was a little unusual because that wasn't what he was good at, but he was, once he decided to do something, put huge energy into it. And it was just so shocking. You know, the headmaster called me up, made sure my parents were with me. But I had a few months there where I was just so taken aback that life could have that uncertainty. You know, who else would die or disappear? And he, you know, was kind of a wonderful kid who I owe a lot to, because the idea of thinking about what career we would engage in, you know, did ambassadors make good money? Did generals? Did scientists? Did CEOs? You know, he got me reading business magazines.
Good evening and welcome to NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take you straight to Prayagraj, where the penultimate day of the Mahakumbh 2025. Tomorrow is going to be the Mahashivratri, and with that, the Kumbh 2025, the Mela, would come to an end. My colleague Vasudha will be joining us in a short while from now, but let me tell you, tomorrow, ladies and gents, it's going to be a very, very big day. 64 crore people, twice the population of United States of America, have already visited the Mahakumbh. And out of, about approximately 115 crore Hindus living in this country, approximately 54% people have gone and taken a dip at Mahakumbh. It has been a big, in fact, program which has taken place. 1 month, 63 crore devotees, and the rush continues at Prayagraj. Remember, there have been some incidents as well which have raised questions on the entire arrangements here. But at this moment, all eyes are on the Shivratri festival tomorrow, which is going to be the final day of the Mahakumbh 2025. The 45-day festival of faith comes to an end tomorrow with the Mahashivratri festival. Ranveer, my colleague, joins me at this moment. Ranveer, 63 crore people. I mean, for many countries, this number would be absolutely mammoth. Population of many countries, if you see, go by these numbers, have come and taken a dip at the Mahakumbh. What are the arrangements for the last and the second last day?
I'll make a correction. It's 64. More than 64 crore devotees have taken holy dip at Sangam in Mahakumbh, and in during this the period of Mahakumbh, more than 64 crore people, and UP government was expecting around 40 to 45 crores, but now the number of devotees is crossing the mark of 65, and by tomorrow it may cross 66 or 67 crores. So obviously this is not a small one. So many countries, so many big countries, except I can say India and China, there's no one who is nearby to this number. Obviously not America, not anyone else. So this number is a record, and if we talk about the arrangements, obviously you can see the Mela is in 10,000 acres, and except the stampede on 29th on the occasion of Mauni Amavasya, everything gone smooth. A single incident which made some allegations over the Mela arrangement. Overall, if we talk about the starting from 13th of January till today, the Mela is going smooth, and you can see this is the second last day, and the number of devotees is huge. I can say that I was in Mahakumbh in 2019 also, and by this period the Mela gets almost empty, but now this year this is exceptional. The number of devotees says the impact of Mela, the devotion of these devotees, and I've talked to so many devotees, and I can claim that most of the devotees are satisfied with the arrangements. But yes, obviously some are not satisfied. Some are raising questions, and this Mahakumbh has become a political issue between the ruling party and opposition. But apart from political issues, I can say that this mega event is historic, is a world record, and if we talk about numbers, we were expecting, because of UP government's claim, more than 40 to 40. कहाँ से हैं आप लोग?
हम लोग यही इलाहाबाद के हैं।
यहीं के हैं? इतनी ज़्यादा भीड़ हुई, आप लोग को दिक्कत हुई क्या?
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई। आराम से दर्शन करके चले आए। बहुत अच्छे से नहाए, बहुत अच्छा दर्शन हुआ।
तो रोज जैसे आप लोग रहते थे, घर से निकलने में तो दिक्कत हो रही है?
नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
अच्छा, अब तो मेला खत्म हो रहा है, तो अब तो आप लोग को मिस करेंगे मेले?
बिल्कुल, बहुत मिस करेंगे। हर साल ऐसे ही हो, हर साल।
कुंभ का नियम तो बदलेगा नहीं ना?
नहीं, कुंभ तो होगा ना।
कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा इस बार?
बहुत अच्छा हुआ, बहुत अच्छे से।
सरकार कह रही थी 40 से 45 करोड़, नंबर 60-65 करोड़ पहुंच गया। ये इतनी ज्यादा भीड़ आपके शहर में वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड बना दिया है।
सनातन का है, जय श्री राम का है। जय श्री राम। देखिए, इसलिए लोगों का धर्म इतना बढ़ गया कि मेले की डेट आगे बढ़ गई, लोगों की जनसंख्या कम नहीं हुई। तीसरी बार आए हैं यहाँ पे, सब लोग इलाहाबाद के होके तीसरी बार यहाँ पे आए हैं, इतना अच्छा लगा।
Just I was trying to mention this picture, the faith of devotees. I have talked to sir. कहाँ से हैं आप?
कलकत्ता से।
कलकत्ता, इतनी दूर से आए हैं, कैसा है मेला?
बहुत अच्छा है।
बहुत सेटिस्फाइड हैं आप?
हाँ, सेटिस्फाई है।
अच्छा, आप लोगों ने पिक्चर्स देखी होंगी, बहुत भीड़ हो रही है, बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है।
देखिए, इतना दिन के बाद इतना बड़ा मेला हो रहा है, भीड़ तो होगा ही।
दिक्कत वगैरह होगा?
कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। हम सोचेंगे तो दिक्कत, तो नहीं तो दिक्कत नहीं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
आप बताइए, इससे आप सहमत हैं?
सेम।
मतलब सोशल मीडिया में जब पिक्चर दिखाई जा रही थी कि 20 किलोमीटर पहले गाड़ी रुक जाती है, तो डर लगा होगा?
डर तो
इतना बड़ा चीज में छोटा तो गलती होता रहता है, इसमें ध्यान नहीं रहने का, खुद को भी कुछ जिम्मेदारी बनता है।
ममता दीदी तो कह रही है ये तो मृत्यु कुंभ है।
हाँ,
ये तो मृत्यु कुंभ है, ये महाकुंभ नहीं है, ममता बनर्जी कह रही है।
ठीक है, हम उनका शहर कैसे है, ऐसा बात नहीं, हम उनको बुरा नहीं बोलेंगे, किंतु ये बहुत अच्छा है।
अच्छा है,
बहुत अच्छा है।
सर, आप बताएं, कहाँ से हैं?
हम गुजरात से आए, महसाणा से।
कैसा है मेला?
बहुत ज़बरदस्त है, बहुत इंजॉय किया है, कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं है यहाँ पे।
पिक्चर तो चल रही थी ना, भीड़ बहुत ज़्यादा है, बहुत दिक्कत
नहीं, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं। भीड़ ज़्यादा है तो क्या हुआ, बहुत ही अच्छी तरीके से इंजॉय किया है, कोई डिफिकल्टी नहीं है। मस्त मज़े से हनुमान दादा के दर्शन किए। योगी सरकार और मोदी सरकार ने बहुत बढ़िया काम किया है।
गुजरात से ही है, हम सब साथ में ही हैं।
अच्छा रहा मेला?
हाँ, बहुत बढ़िया है। भीड़ तो होगी, इतना बड़ा आयोजन होगा तो भीड़ तो होगी, कोई भी जगह हो, देश का कोई भी कोने में होगा।
जो काम किया लाइफ टाइम में ऐसा कभी नहीं होगा। इतना
ज़्यादा भीड़ हो गई, 65 करोड़ लोग आ गए।
क्या
65 करोड़ पहुंच गए यहाँ।
हाँ, बरोबर है ना, ऐसा तो मतलब दूसरी बार इम्पॉसिबल है। जबरदस्त काम किया,
नहीं होगा कभी ऐसा,
पॉसिबल नहीं है।
आप कहाँ से हो भाई?
मैं गुजरात से हूँ, अहमदाबाद।
गुजराती लोग बहुत आए हैं।
हाँ बिल्कुल, काफी स्पिरिचुअल होते हैं ना हम लोग।
अच्छा तो कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत बढ़िया रहा एक्चुअली। और जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि 144 साल में एक बार होता है, तो कभी ऐसा होगा नहीं। इवन लाइक मेरा जो है वर्क फ्रॉम होम है, बट मैं कैसे भी करके, मतलब अपना लैपटॉप लेके भी आया कि नहीं, मुझे कैसे भी करके जाना है।
यहाँ के काम भी कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, मैं करूँगा। मैं बस में आया, बस में 2 दिन, अभी जाते टाइम पे काम करूँगा।
अच्छा।
हाँ, तो मैंने मैनेज किया, बट करना है तो हो जाता है।
काम भी होगा और यहाँ पूजा पाठ भी हो जाएगा।
हाँ, नहीं मुझे नहीं मिला उतना छुट्टी, बट मैंने सोचा कि नहीं, मुझे जाना है तो मैं कैसे भी करके अपने मुताबिक करूँगा, तो हो गया।
आप लोग कहाँ से हो भाई?
मैं रायपुर छत्तीसगढ़ से हूँ।
कैसा एक्सपीरियंस मिलेगा?
एक्सपीरियंस मेरा बहुत अच्छा है। इस बार मैं तीसरी बार गंगा स्नान करने आया हूँ, पर पिछले 2 बार का एक्सपीरियंस है मेरा अभी वाला जो स्नान रहा है उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा सुकून रहा है। इस वाले में अलग ही पीस था जी।
हैदराबाद से आए? इतनी दूर से डर लगा होगा आने में कि यूपी जा रहे हैं साहब, इतनी भीड़ है।
अभी सोशल मीडिया में बहुत नेगेटिव हाइप करे सो है कि बहुत डरावना है मामला ये पूरा करके, बट हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा है आके। इधर बहुत अच्छा ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, सब कुछ अच्छा है। अभी डिप भी हो गया हमारा, सब चीज़ के अभी मंदिर जा रहे हैं हम हनुमान जी का, बस बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है। जय श्री राम।
जय श्री राम। जय। हम कर्नाटक से आए हैं सर। हाँ सर।
आपका एक्सपीरियंस कैसा है?
हमारा बढ़िया है सर, बहुत बढ़िया व्यवस्था थी।
मोदी ने बहुत अच्छा किया है। योगी जी मोदी जी ने बहुत अच्छा किया है, कोई प्रोग्राम में कोई दिक्कत नहीं है।
कहाँ से हैं?
हम राजस्थान से, पाली से। हाँ पाली से।
साथ में
हमारे साथ नहीं है।
आप लोग?
हम लोग लखनऊ से हैं, उत्तर प्रदेश। हाँ लखनऊ।
बढ़िया रहा मेला?
हाँ बढ़िया रहा सर, बहुत बढ़िया रहा।
This is the real picture. You can see people from Karnataka, people from Telangana, people from Delhi, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, so many states. And from each and every state, I have met people who came from across India, not only from India, but across the different countries also. And I can say that the devotion is on its peak. And these devotees, they are walking for around 7 to 8 kilometers, but still they are applauding the arrangements, they are applauding the management of the government. So this is the level of devotion. And now tomorrow the Mela will be concluded, but I don't think that the crowd will be minimized after tomorrow.
All right, thank you for joining us, Ranveer. Let me also play out, because our colleague Vasudha is also there at Prayagraj. She has sent us some reports. Take a look.
हमारे फोर्सेस का डिप्लॉयमेंट और वो सेट ड्रिल है, तो कल के लिए हमने पूरी तैयारी की है। सभी मजिस्ट्रेट्स को, पुलिस के ऑफिसर्स को ब्रीफ किया गया है। अभी आज भी एक अंतिम तैयारी बैठक हम लोग करने जा रहे हैं। और इसके अतिरिक्त हमारी पार्किंग सुचारू रूप से चले, ट्रैफिक अच्छे से चले, ट्रैफिक डाइवर्जेंस का जितने श्रद्धालु आ रहे हैं वो पालन करें। रेलवेज़ के साथ में बेहतर कोऑर्डिनेशन है, और जो सड़क मार्ग से जो लोग आएंगे तो उनको भी कहीं बहुत दूर ना रुकना पड़े और उनका जो अमृत स्नान है वो अच्छे से हो जाए, तो उसकी हमने बहुत अच्छी तैयारी की है। ये महाकुंभ के पावन पर्व का अंतिम स्नान दिवस है, तो निश्चित रूप से जिम्मेदारी बढ़ी है, तो उसको लेकर हम पूरी तरह मुस्तैद और संजीदा हैं।
Mahakumbh 2025 is culminating in a few hours from now. This is the confluence of faith, devotion and stories of salvation. I'm here with Mr. Banu Bhaskar, a senior IPS officer who has been at the center of all action here. In fact, he is ADG in charge of Mela Affairs. Thank you so much, Mr. Bhaskar, for speaking to NDTV. So tomorrow is Shivratri. It is the day of the Akhri or last Amrit Snan. What are the preparations that the administration has put forward?
So Mahashivratri, the preparations are on 2 levels. First is that there will be normal snan. For normal snan, for what we have witnessed in the last almost 1 month, 45 days, is that we see close to 1.5 to 2 crore people every day. So that aside, while we are going to ensure that everybody has a proper snan and they return back with good memories, at the same time, there will be a group of people who like to take the holy water from River Ganges and Dwivedi and go and visit the Shivales. So we have 7 Shivales here. We have visited each of the Shivales, spoken to the pilgrims, seen the Tehvar register and the past records, and accordingly made preparations so that when people, the culmination of both Mahashivratri and Mahakumbh, so there will be an excitement. So we can ensure we have made preparations so that there is a proper way in which we conduct the safety, the traffic, as well as the crowds movement of the pilgrims within the Shivale, outside the Shivale, and from the Ghat to the Shivale.
Right. When it comes to emergency response, Mr. Bhaskar, what are the preparations like?
So we have contingency plans. The contingency plans have been rehearsed for the last almost 6 months, which have been made in conjunction with the past experiences, which is made in conjunction with the data available, plus all the recent data which has come up through our control center. We are standing in the control center. So all the data that comes along with this, that helps us prepare for the contingencies, and that helps us enact the contingencies. So the various contingencies which are there of crowd movement, traffic movement, and safety, they've all have been rehearsed, they have been practiced, and we're prepared for any contingency.
There's a lot that's being talked about. How pure is the water? What is the challenge that you're facing when it comes to keeping the ghats and the water of the Sangam clean?
2-3 things that we have taken care. First and foremost, whatever sewage water is being generated into the city, it has been adequately, properly treated through the STPs and then only discharged into the river after ensuring proper parameters are being taken care. And whatever grey water and black water is being generated in the temporary city is also treated through the same parameters to ensure zero disposal of any black and grey water into the water. The second issue that we face is whenever so many people are coming in the city and they are putting a lot of flowers and other sari or something or the other they are putting as a token into the river. So we have deployed 2 transkimmers in the river which are collecting almost 10 to 15 metric ton of waste from the river to ensure that there is no floating material in the river which can create any kind of pollution into the river. Right. So these 2 things we are taking care, whether it is the solid waste or the liquid waste, zero discharge in any form should be there in the river. Right.
My colleague Ranveer continues to be with us. Ranveer, you know, like you were talking to a lot of people, they are, all of them at that point of time, pleased with the preparations that have been made there. But what are the expectations tomorrow? Mahashivratri, a lot of people are expected to come. I can see a lot of excited faces behind you waving to the camera.
Obviously, the excitement is on its peak. And if we talk about tomorrow's expectation of devotees, it may cross the figure of 2 to 3 crores. So obviously, today's number is around 64, and by tomorrow, the total number of devotees may cross 66 to 67 crore. And this is the excitement. See, this is the excitement. And this is the second last day, and you can see huge gathering of devotees. I should say, कहाँ से हैं भैया?
हम लोग सोमनाथ से आ रहे हैं।
आप तो महादेव की नगरी से आए हैं।
हम लोग महादेव की नगरी से आए हैं।
यहाँ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस?
यहाँ का बहुत बढ़िया एक्सपीरियंस लिया, स्नान कर लिया, हमारा दिल पूरा आनंदित रह गया, बहुत खुश हो गया।
यूपी कैसा लगा?
यूपी अच्छा लगा, बस सब मैनेजमेंट अरेंजमेंट सब मोदी जी का और योगी का बढ़िया है, बहुत बढ़िया,
बिल्कुल
आनंद आ गया,
बहुत आनंद आ गया, बहुत एनर्जी मिला है बना के। महिलाओं से भी पूछते हैं, आप लोग आइए, ये लोग तो बता दिए, आप लोग बताइए कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत ही।
कहाँ से हैं?
दिल्ली से।
I come from Hyderabad. I think the experience has been really great. Despite the crowd, the management has been really good. Thank you for the government.
There were so many allegations that management is, people are facing problem, the devotees are facing problem, the issue of cleanliness of Ganga ji, and so many issues were raised by the opposition. Do you think these issues will work for opposition?
I think this is a case study in terms of how to manage the event of this magnitude, right? So I think this is a case study which I think Gaurie ji and Modi ji have delivered, and it's the world to witness from here on. So it's been a fabulous Mahakumbh.
Despite see, this is a historic one.
Absolutely, yes. I don't see there's any other event in India that has of this magnitude in the world as well. So thank you for all this.
गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत, संस्कृति पर्यटन मंत्रालय जोधपुर, नरेंद्र जी मोदी, योगी जी, थैंक्स, कुंभ महाकुंभ।
थैंक यू कह दिया आपने। और कुछ कहना? जोधपुर से, जोधपुर गजेंद्र सिंह शेखावत।
हम लोग कच्छ से आए, कच्छ गुजरात, हाँ, कच्छ वांडिया।
बिल्कुल, आप तो बिल्कुल
बचाव तालुका से आए हम।
कैसा रहा एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत अच्छा, बहुत अच्छे से स्नान हुआ हम लोग का संगम।
इतनी दूर से चले आए, बिल्कुल एक कोने से।
वो भगवान का बुलावा आया, हम लोग चले आए।
आप लोग को डर नहीं लगा था इतनी भीड़ हो रही है?
भी नहीं, मोदी जी का और योगी जी का बहुत अच्छा ये हम प्रमाण किया।
गाजियाबाद से।
गाजियाबाद, कैसा एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत बढ़िया।
बढ़िया, मजा आया। आप लोग ना बताइए।
मेरा भी एक्सपीरियंस बहुत अच्छा रहा, मैं गाजियाबाद से हूँ।
गाजियाबाद, हाँ जी। आप लोग?
सहारनपुर से।
सहारनपुर
जी, बहुत बढ़िया रहा, बहुत
दिल्ली से।
हम दिल्ली से आए हैं।
दिल्ली से कैसा एक्सपीरियंस?
बहुत अच्छा। और
यूथ भी आ रहा है इस बार मेले में।
बहुत बढ़िया।
ये बड़ा चेंज है कि महाकुंभ में लोग आते थे और बुजुर्ग लोग आते थे गांव।
स्टार्टिंग से ही बहुत ज़्यादा एक्साइटमेंट थे, मतलब एक्साइटेड थे कि हमें इसमें मतलब एक भी बार हमें स्नान लेना है, और बहुत मुश्किल था, बट जब यहाँ आए तो
भी आ रहे हैं इसलिए ये भी चीज़ें काफ़ी अच्छा लगा, एक्सपीरियंस काफ़ी अच्छा रहा।
और हाँ, जैसे लोगों ने बहुत गलत भी फीडबैक्स दिए थे, तो हम लोग थोड़ा डर रहे थे कि हम कैसे, लेकिन
These are the real words, and this is a random survey, you can say, of the devotees over the management of Mahakumbh.
Thank you, Ranveer. It's going to be a packed day for my colleagues, those who are reporting from Prayagraj. Thanks at this moment, Ranveer, for joining us. Let's play out some more reactions from the devotees who met my colleague Vasudha.
Well, Mahakumbh 2025 is also an example how families have come together, in fact, with members that they supposedly lost in touch with, or also members that they want to foster stronger bonds with. This is Karanjit Singh ji, who's come from Roorkee in Haridwar, and these are his sisters. And this is a whole family that has come for Mahakumbh. Sir, ये बताइए कि कब आना हुआ आपका, and कब आपने ये सोचा कि आपको आना ही है इस बार?
मैडम, मन में तो था कि कुंभ में आए, मगर सब डर जाते थे कि रील वगैरह देख के कि बहुत भीड़ है, ये है और वो है, मगर फिर भी हमने अपने मन में ठाना। 2-3 दिन पहले सोचा कि भाई कुंभ निकल जाएगा, 26 तारीख को ख़त्म हो जाएगा, कि हम लोगों को भी जाके संगम में डुबकी लगाना चाहिए। तो फिर हम लोगों ने कल परसों ही प्रोग्राम बनाया और हम लोग कल ही रुड़की से वहाँ से चल दिए, हरिद्वार रुड़की, जिला रुड़की से। तो आज सुबह हम आए और संगम में डुबकी लगाए हैं, बहुत अच्छा लगा। अरेंजमेंट वगैरह बहुत अच्छा है, मान लो सब सुख सुविधाएँ हैं यहाँ पर। मान लो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मान लो कोई परेशान हो रहा है, परेशानी कुछ नहीं है। बहुत अच्छे से हम लोग नहा के आए हैं, कपड़े चेंज किए हैं और अब जाके कहीं पे कुछ खाएंगे।
अच्छा, ये बताइए कि आप तो काफ़ी यंग हैं, व्हाट डू यू डू एंड हाउ वाज योर एक्सपीरियंस?
मुझे क्या बोलूं,
अच्छा लगा, जो भी
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा यहाँ पे। मैं फर्स्ट टाइम आई हूँ, बट मैं ये देख रही थी कि मेरा सपना होगा, बट वो आज मेरा पूरा हुआ है। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। आज मैं कुंभ में आई हूँ, बट मुझे लग नहीं रहा है कि मैं कुंभ में हूँ। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा।
मैम, व्हाट अबाउट यू?
मैं सीमा सैनी हूँ, मैं भी रुड़की से आई हूँ करण भाई के साथ। एक्चुअली में हमारा काफ़ी टाइम से कुंभ आने का बनना था, पर कुछ लोगों ने बहुत ही गलत अफवाहें उड़ा रखी थी, जैसे कि सीवर लाइन छोड़ दी या फंगस वगैरह, बहुत कुछ उड़ा रखा था, जिसके रहते हमारी पेरेंट्स ने मना कर दिया था कि नहीं जाना। बट हमें कुंभ में आना था, हमारी एक श्रद्धा थी कि हम लोग जाएं, और उसी आस्था के साथ हम भाई बहनों ने प्रोग्राम बनाया। जो भी होगा आई एम गोइंग, हम जाएं।
कल शिवरात्रि है, क्या वो भी मनाएंगे आप लोग?
जी, हम जो त्रिवेणी घाट से जल भर के लाए हैं, ये अपने जाके रुड़की में शिव मंदिर पर चढ़ाएंगे और शिवरात्रि मनाएंगे जी।
So that's a group of family, a brother with his sisters and a whole lot of nieces and nephews who have come together to be part of Mahakumbh 2025. Mahakumbh 2025 is also about friends getting together and making this an experience they will remember all their lives. With me is a group of 3 friends. One runs a gym, the other one is a Panchayat Samiti member, the other one runs an auto. आप लोग तीनों दोस्त हैं, ये बताइए कि कुंभ में आने का, सारा पूजा पाठ करने का ये आइडिया किसका था और अभी तक का एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा?
हम यहाँ पे सब मिल के आने वाले थे, लेकिन बहुत काम था, उसकी वजह से अलग अलग तरफ से हम आ गए यहाँ पे। हमारे इधर कम से कम 25 मेंबर यहाँ पे आए हुए हैं, लेकिन ये बहुत भीड़ है, उसकी वजह से इधर
टीम बनाए, छोटी छोटी टीम बनाई है, थोड़े लोग उधर गए, थोड़े लोग इधर आए।
आप एक पंचायत समिति मेंबर हैं, ये बताइए कि पॉलिटिक्स और रिलीजन का जो होता है, इसको आप किस तरह देखते हैं? क्या कुंभ को पॉलिटिक्स से अलग रखना चाहिए?
नहीं, ये पॉलिटिक्स रखना ही नहीं चाहिए। जो भगवान है ना, जो कर्म करते हैं उसका फल इधर ही मिलता है। ये कलयुग है और कलयुग में जो आप करोगे वो इधर ही आपको सब करने का है। मैंने बहुत इसकी प्रसिद्धि ली, जो आपने मतलब लोग दिख रहे हैं, ये इधर आके भी पीछे जा रहे हैं और बोल रहे कहाँ है त्रिवेणी संगम, कहाँ है त्रिवेणी संगम। मैं बोल रहा हूँ यहाँ पे है, तो मतलब मालूम है ना, मतलब जो आप ये कर रहे हो तो अच्छा कर्म किए तो ही इधर आ रहे हो आप सब। अभी मैंने बहुत लोगों को पूछा आप कहाँ से हो, कहाँ से हो। केरल से आए हैं, कोई गोवा से आए हैं, कोई महाराष्ट्र से हमारे इधर से आए हैं। बहुत अच्छा लगा। मतलब
आप बताइए आपका एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा? काफ़ी लोग बोलते हैं कि पानी शायद इतना साफ़ नहीं है, क्या ये चीज़ों का आस्था पे कोई फ़र्क पड़ता है?
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन हमको इधर आके दो दिन हुआ, लेकिन इधर हमने कल स्नान किया इधर गंगा में, लेकिन हमको इधर बहुत अच्छा लगा गंगा में स्नान करके। वो क्या बोलते हैं कि कुछ होता है कुछ, लेकिन कुछ नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन इधर बहुत अच्छा लगा इधर आके।
पानी का लेवल खूब बहुत अच्छा है, क्योंकि कल हमने स्नान किया है ना, तो हमें लगा चिपचिप है, वो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, क्लियर, बहुत क्लियर है।
पर एक आखिरी क्वेश्चन, तीनों फ्रेंड्स मिलकर आ रहे हैं, क्या आप लोग हमेशा ऐसे ट्रिप लेते हैं और कुंभ में आने का फ्रेंड्स ऐसा जाते हैं धार्मिक टूर्स में?
धार्मिक कार्य में हम जाते हैं, हम विश्व हिंदू परिषद बजरंग दल का कार्य करते हैं तीनों भी ऐसा। और इधर अभी हमने कल पानी लिया था 5 लीटर इसमें कैन में, और अभी वो पानी देखा वो जैसा क्लीन था वैसा ही क्लीन था। अभी आप देख रहे हो इतना भीड़ है, सब नहा रहे वगैरह, लेकिन
कल हमने
सब
गंगा का पानी लिया, आज हम त्रिवेणी का ले रहे हैं।
और कल वापस चले जाएंगे?
कल उज्जैन महाशिवरात्रि है ना, इधर से उज्जैन करके हम रत्नागिरी जाएंगे।
So the plan doesn't end with just Sangam here. They are also going to Ujjain, which is also considered one of the Mahatirths, also one of the 4 places apart from Nashik, Haridwar and Prayagraj, considered very important. That's me, Vasudha Venugopal, with Pooja Arya for NDTV.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
Love a good deal? Try free to play Deal or No Deal, only at Tombola. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Get that good deal feeling. Open for fun.
Now I'm retired, I can spend more time with my grandson. I'm proud of him and want to help any way I can. Which reminds me.
Welcome to British Seniors, the UK's #1 rated provider of over 50s life insurance.
Hi, I'd like a quick quote.
No problem. We're proud to offer our seniors lifetime guarantee. With 100% of claims having been paid, we guarantee your premiums will never go up and that you'll speak to one of our specialists in the UK.
Well, that's good to know.
UK residents aged 50 to 80 are guaranteed to be accepted. Depending on your age, your loved ones can get a cash payout up to £10,000.
And that money can help with my funeral costs or even be used as a gift. I'll do it.
Plus, when you sign up, you'll receive a £135 gift card and free 24/7 GP advice and health services.
Thanks, Mum, for everything.
Be proud to protect your loved ones with British Seniors. To get a free quote today, call our UK team on 0800 158 552 or visit britishseniors.co.uk.
In People's Postcode Lottery's March draws, you could win a share of £15.6 million. For the chance to win, sign up before midnight on the 28th of February.
Our first year as a family flew by. And now, I want to make sure he'll be financially protected for all his birthdays to come. That's why I'm calling Smart Insurance.
Hi, how can I help?
Hi, I'd like a quick quote for family life insurance.
OK, you can choose a benefit amount up to £750,000 depending on your age.
That's great.
If you're a UK resident aged 18 to 64, you can apply with just a few health and lifestyle questions. For £250,000 of cover, the price starts at just £14.77 a month.
That's less than I thought. And could help my wife pay off the mortgage.
And with our Smart Family Guarantee, you'll have peace of mind.
That's good to know.
You'll also receive a 100% advance in the event of terminal illness and 10% cashback on your first year's premiums. That's the Smart Cashback. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Protect the life you've built the smart way. To get a free quote today, call our specialist UK team on 0808 141 5855 or visit smartinsurance.co.uk.
I urgently need to ask for your help on behalf of animals at risk right now. With the pandemic came a surge in pet ownership. And sadly, we're now seeing a serious rise in neglect, cruelty and abuse. Our services are being stretched to the limit. To make matters worse, our costs are soaring too. But we refuse to let animals suffer. So please, act now to help rescue the growing number of animals who've never needed us more. Please call or text the number on screen now to give £2 a month to the RSPCA. In one of the toughest times we have ever experienced, your gift will make all the difference to animals. You could help provide more life-saving treatment, food, shelter, and the loving care that many have never known. We know there are millions of you who, like us, care deeply and won't stand by while animals are suffering. We have to reach those trapped in a life of abuse and neglect before it's too late. Because for many, the RSPCA is their only hope. But we can only come to the rescue with the support of people like you. So please, will you help us be there no matter what? Call 0800 313 4392 or text RSPCA to 78866 to start your monthly gift today. Thank you.
Brain really matters.
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
Watching the news, I'm Gaurie. This is a show that gets you all the day's top headlines. Coming up ahead, an ugly social media spat between actor Preeti Zinta and the Kerala Congress. Also, it is the final day of the Mahakumbh. It ends tomorrow on Mahashivratri. All arrangements are in place, say the authorities. Some relief for badminton star Lakshya Sen in the ugly age row. The Supreme Court has stayed any coercive action against him. He has been charged of age fraud. Well, our top story now, in a massive spat between Bollywood actor Preeti Zinta and the Kerala Congress after the Congress on Platform X claimed the actor had given her social media accounts to the BJP in lieu of a loan waiver. After Zinta slammed the Kerala Congress, calling it shocking that they were spreading such fake news, that she got this 19 crore loan waiver. She claims that she had actually repaid that amount over the last 10 years. Now, the party responded to her claims and asked the actor to clear the air with proof, saying we're glad to accept mistakes if we have made any. Radhika with the details.
War of words intensifying between Kerala Congress and actor Preeti Zinta. Big allegations by Kerala Congress based on online news report that the actor's loan was waived off by crisis-hit New India Cooperative Bank because the social media accounts were managed by the BJP. These are the allegations indicating that she has support from the ruling party. Preeti Zinta, of course, rubbishing these allegations, slamming the Congress, saying the party is simply peddling lies and misinformation, and that she has paid off all her loans 10 years back to the bank, and that her social media accounts are managed by her. Congress party standing by its claims, asking Preeti Zinta to furnish proof of closing the loan. Said it had put out the tweet based on news reports in online forums, which says her loan was in fact waived off. No evidence has been furnished by either of the parties of loan waiver or of paying off loans, and no word from the bank, RBI, on the allegations and counter allegations. Economic Offences Wing, which is investigating the bank financial fraud, has said this doesn't come under their purview. New India Cooperative Bank is under scrutiny and probe after its senior officials were accused of misappropriating rupees 122 crore from bank's safe over a period of time. Multiple people have been arrested. Restrictions are put on withdrawals and deposits as far as this bank is concerned by the RBI, leaving depositors in the lurch. Amid this controversy, of course, now allegations that Zinta's loan has been waived off. Congress standing by its claims. Remains to be seen if the online portal will produce any sort of evidence to back its claims, whether Congress will or if Zinta will produce any documents to substantiate her claims of paying off her loans, or if she will file any sort of defamation case against Kerala Congress or the online news portal.
Now, for our special coverage of the Mahakumbh, as the massive spiritual event draws to a close with the Mahashivratri tomorrow, the sacred gathering, which began on the 13th of January, has drawn crores of pilgrims to the holy waters of Prayagraj, to the Sangam, and the final bath, the Shahi Snan, as it's called, will take place tomorrow on Mahashivratri. So there's a massive rush of devotees eager to take that holy dip as the Mahakumbh ends tomorrow, while officials have said that all arrangements are in place for the surging crowd. The Prayagraj railway station is teeming with devotees. Authorities are on a high alert. Also, personnel have been deployed in sensitive areas to ensure security. It was another day of fireworks in the Delhi Assembly as new Chief Minister Rekha Gupta tabled the CAG report on the liquor policy that the BJP has claimed is a big scam. The CAG report claims that there was a loss of over 2,002 crore to the national capital's exchequer because of the policy. However, former Chief Minister Atishi hit back, saying that the audit document actually exposes corruption under the old liquor policy. Protests, slogans and corruption charges. Another dramatic day in the Delhi Assembly. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta tabled the CAG report on the alleged liquor policy scam. The 2008-page report, spread across 8 chapters, highlights major lapses in the now scrapped Delhi excise policy. The report revealed that the Delhi government suffered losses of 2,000 crore rupees due to the excise policy. The implementation was suboptimal. The transport costs were not enough to justify the significant increase in distributor margin. That quality checking labs were not in place. The report also says that government shops did not stock Delhi's highest selling whiskey brands, thereby driving revenue to private dealers.
आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार ने बार-बार कहा कि ओल्ड एक्साइज पॉलिसी से दिल्ली के सरकारी खजाने को, एक्सचेकर को लॉस हो रहा है। सीएजी की रिपोर्ट ने इस बात को साबित कर दिया है कि आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार ने ओल्ड एक्साइज पॉलिसी को हटाकर सही फैसला लिया।
आज कैग रिपोर्ट में आप पढ़ेंगे, कैग रिपोर्ट में क्या कहा गया। उसमें बताया गया कि किस तरह से अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के मंत्रियों ने इस पॉलिसी को, जो कंप्लेंट आई थी, उसको दरकिनार करते हुए इस पॉलिसी को बनाने का काम किया। कैग रिपोर्ट में यह भी सामने आया कि लगभग 4,004 करोड़ रुपया, लगभग 4,004 करोड़ रुपए का लॉस हुआ है रेवेन्यू को अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के इस अपने दोस्तों को शराब काम देने से।
The AAP benches were nearly empty as the CAG report was tabled. 21 AAP MLAs, including leader of opposition Atishi, was suspended for 3 days for raising slogans during the Lieutenant Governor VK Saksena's address. Atishi accused the BJP of disrespecting B.R. Ambedkar and Bhagat Singh, claiming their portraits were removed from the Chief Minister's office. After they were marshalled out of the assembly, the 21 MLAs staged a protest inside the assembly complex, holding Ambedkar's portraits and chanting slogans.
विधानसभा के मुख्यमंत्री कार्यालय में जहां बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर की तस्वीर होती थी, अब नरेंद्र मोदी जी की तस्वीर लग गई है। दिल्ली सरकार के मंत्रियों के कार्यालय में जहां बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर की तस्वीर होती थी, वहां पर नरेंद्र मोदी जी की तस्वीर लग गई है। मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी से ये पूछना चाहती हूँ कि आपको लगता है कि नरेंद्र मोदी जी बाबा साहब भीमराव अंबेडकर से बड़े हैं?
देखिए, इनका डर सामने आ रहा है और बाबा जी की फोटो के पीछे उस डर से बचने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो ये जितना मर्जी छुप लें, ये कानून बाबा अंबेडकर जी का ही बनाया हुआ है।
तो कितने लोगों को किया गया है?
21 MLA।
सर, ये हमारा एक और सवाल है कि क्या एक्सटेंड कर दिया गया है इस असेंबली सेशन को?
यस, 3 तारीख तक।
3 तारीख तक। सर, आज एक सीएजी रिपोर्ट टेबल हुई, क्या हम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि इसी असेंबली सेशन में बाकी के भी कुछ सीएजी से
बिल्कुल आएंगी?
शीश महल पे भी इसी वाले में आएगा?
अभी आगे देखते हैं।
With the assembly session extended by 2 more days, the BJP government is set to table more CAG reports. But with 21 out of 22 AAP MLAs already suspended till Friday, the lone Aam Aadmi Party MLA Amanatullah Khan faces an uphill battle in the assembly. Thus, the bigger question remains that will the rest 13 CAG reports further damage the already crushed up, or will the Aam Aadmi Party be able to counter the BJP's relentless attack? Now, with Malvika Murli and camera person SP Dwivedi, this is Ishka Verma for NDTV.
In other news now, Congress MP Shashi Tharoor's post on social media site X, a photograph of himself with Union Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and British Secretary of State for Trade Jonathan Reynolds after discussion on the India-UK trade deal has added to buzz over his future with the party. The post follows an apparent souring of ties between Tharoor and the Congress after he praised the policies of Kerala's ruling CPM-led Left Democratic Front government. Also, remember, Mr. Tharoor has said how he has other options as well. Well, let's go across to Sunil Prabhu for more on this story. So, Sunil, now the Congress has called for a meeting of top leaders of the party from Kerala.
That's right. Senior leaders will be meeting on the 28th. All of them are coming. It's an election-going state. Of course, officially they say it's nothing to do with Tharoor, but I think the fact is that all need to speak in one voice against the CPM and the LDF government. And of course, the BJP is something uppermost in their minds, and the fact that they have to work unitedly if they have to take on the LDF, which has been in power for nearly 10 years. Having said that, of course, at present, most of the senior Congress leaders from the state have been told not to engage or get into a war of words with Mr. Shashi Tharoor and to avoid and stay away from that controversy because the fight is not within, but with outside. As I said, with the left front government as well as the BJP. And I think that's the focus that they want that to remain for Mr. Tharoor. Of course, they keep saying, what hasn't he got? He's been a 4-time MP. He's been supported by the party. He's been made a minister. He's been made a standing committee chairperson as being in the opposition. He's fallen out, of course, with K.C. Venugopal. Hasn't got any assurance from Rahul Gandhi. But be that as it may, we'll have to wait and see how things play out in the next few days.
All right, Sunil, thanks so much for joining us with all those latest developments. Amidst the language row between the centre and Tamil Nadu, now a new flashpoint. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has called for an all-party meeting over the delimitation issue, claiming that with delimitation, the number of parliamentary seats in the south will be reduced and thereby stifling the voice of the southern states. Meanwhile, a setback to the BJP in Tamil Nadu after party leader Ranjan Nachiyar quit protesting the language imposition.
DMK's student wing took to the streets across Tamil Nadu, building its offensive over what it has called Hindi imposition by the centre in the garb of three-language policy of the NEP.
The education system we follow is don't impose Hindi. Even without the Hindi, we have proved in the past, we are proving currently, even today.
Despite the centre's categorical rejection of Hindi imposition, the DMK seems to have virtually declared the narrative that it will set for the 2026 assembly polls. Even as the NEP confrontation plays out, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin declared another attack on the centre over delimitation of parliamentary seats. He has now called for an all-party meeting to discuss delimitation, all of it playing to the DMK's narrative of the state's interest under threat and projecting itself as the only force for defending Tamil Nadu.
தென்னிந்தியாவுடைய தலைக்கு மேலே ஒரு கத்தியை தொங்கிக்கிட்டு இருக்கு. இதனால் தமிழ்நாட்டுடைய குரல் நசுக்கப்படுது. இது வெறும் உறுப்பினுடைய எண்ணிக்கையை பற்றி கவலை மட்டும் இல்லை, நம் மாநிலத்துடைய உரிமையை சார்ந்தது என்பதை நாம் மறந்துடக்கூடாது.
The BJP has been keenly defending itself against the DMK's offensive. It even launched a signature campaign. But it faces trouble within its own ranks. As a party leader, Ranjani Nachiyar quit the Tamil Nadu BJP, protesting language imposition.
From northern India, our sisters and brothers are traveling. So it is railway station. Railway is connecting all the states from north to south. What authority you have to erase that Hindi words?
Call it Hindi imposition or a fixed mindset. The heated exchange over language brings back memories of the anti-Hindi agitation in the 60s. Politically, with elections due next year, the ruling DMK is upbeat that this would bring political dividends. But the BJP, that has a negligible presence in the state, could run the risk of further isolating itself because of its tough stance, be it need, disaster relief, or now language. In Chennai with Suresh, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
News now from the Northeast, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi today called upon industry captains to help the centre turn Assam into a shining example of investment possibilities in the global south. This was at the Advantage Assam Infrastructure Investment Summit, which the Prime Minister inaugurated in Guwahati in the presence of several union ministers, industrialists, 61 heads of mission and ambassadors from different countries. NDTV's Ratnadeep Chaudhary with all the highlights.
A two-day infrastructure and investment summit, Advantage Assam, in its second edition promises to be a game changer for the state. The biggest business summit in the Northeast was inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
असम आज साउथ ईस्ट एशिया और भारत के बीच का गेटवे बनकर उभर रहा है। मुझे गर्व है कि असम सेमीकंडक्टर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में भी भारत के एक महत्वपूर्ण सेंटर के रूप में विकसित हो रहा है। वो दिन दूर नहीं जब दुनिया भारत की डेवलपमेंट जर्नी में इस क्षेत्र को सबसे आगे बढ़ते हुए देखेगा।
Apart from Prime Minister Modi's big push, the summit has got partnerships from 9 nations, and the who's who of the Indian industry have announced key investments.
The Adani Group's commitment to invest rupees 50,000 crores in Assam. Our investments will span across airports, aerocities, city gas distributions, transmissions, cement, and road projects.
Assam now is looking beyond its tea and hydrocarbon potential. New tech-driven avenues are now opening up.
That one day, the cars that you drive, the mobile phones that you use, the televisions you watch, the medical equipment that scan your body, and the home appliances that you will use in your daily life would be powered by the chips packaged here in Jagi Road. I have that firm belief.
I've gone to several states. This was the highest energy I have seen. I wish him very, very best, and he's going all around. He's going in technology, he's going in automobile, he's going in semiconductor, he's going in renewable energy, he's going in oil and gas, which is the hub.
Several key MOUs were signed on day one of the two-day summit.
With a strong pitch by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and presence of industry captains, Advantage Assam perhaps shows that Assam is on a transition from a land of conflict to a land of opportunities. Camera person Sanjay Chakravarti in Guwahati, Ratnadeep Chaudhary for NDTV.
Some relief for badminton star Lakshya Sen today after he faced a major setback in the Karnataka High Court. The Supreme Court today issued a special notice on Lakshya Sen's plea in quashing an investigation which alleged he had fabricated his birth certificates to participate in underage tournaments. Now, earlier in the day, the Karnataka High Court had rejected petitions filed by Lakshya Sen, his family members, as well as his coach, U. Vimal Kumar, in connection with allegations of fabricating birth certificates. In fact, the High Court ruled that there was prima facie evidence warranting an investigation into these allegations. Well, for more on this story, let's go across to Rika Roy. And Rika, quite an ugly controversy, and the fact that these allegations are made and reached the High Court, and that an investigation was even ordered, but some relief now in the Supreme Court.
It is an ugly confrontation between Lakshya Sen's family and the family of the person who alleged Lakshya of age fraud. All of this has been happening since 2022, but big relief for Lakshya earlier today after the Karnataka High Court had ordered investigations into alleged fraud by Lakshya Sen's family and the person who had alleged Lakshya Sen of fraud, Mr. Nagaraju, had claimed that Lakshya's father had manipulated at least 2.5 years to enable Lakshya play the underage tournaments and thereby get an unfair advantage. It also seems that Mr. Nagaraju is a rival in some sense, and he has been trying to get at the family, and that's what the allegations have, that's where the allegations come up. He has been trying to get back at the family because his daughter, who is around the same age as Lakshya Sen, also wanted to get into the Padukone Dravid Center where she couldn't make the cut. And since then, he has been filing RTIs. From the RTIs, it came out that in 2016, that Chirag Sen, Lakshya Sen's brother, elder brother, was accused of age fraud. He was suspended by the Badminton Association. Later, the Central Vigilance Commission accepted the certificates. He was brought back into the circuit. Now, it seems all eyes are on Lakshya, whether he is able to get over the rough patch or not.
All right, Rika, thanks so much for joining us with all those details of this entire case and some relief as we report for Lakshya Sen in this entire matter. Now, some big news for Indians in Canada. Canada has tightened its temporary visa rules. Canadian border officials now have sweeping authority to change visa statuses at their discretion. Under this new immigration regulations, they can reject or cancel temporary resident documents, including work permits and student visas, if they believe the individual won't leave Canada after their authorized stay. My colleague Disha Bagchi with the details.
While Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is on his way out of office, his administration delivered a final blow to Indian immigrants, with new visa regulations granting border officials increased authority to modify and even revoke the visa status of international students, workers and migrants as deemed necessary, leaving the lakhs of Indian students and workers in the lurch. These new rules mean that border officials can now revoke temporary visas, including work permits and student visas, as per their discretion, if they do not meet certain criteria. The new rules allow officers to cancel visas if a person's status or circumstances change, making them not eligible to hold the visa, if a person gives false information or has criminal history, or if officials believe that the person won't leave Canada by the end of their authorized stay according to their visa. Another case where visas can be cancelled is if the person loses their document or the document itself is stolen, destroyed or damaged. These new rules also allow officials to cancel student and work visas after the individual has already entered or is even living in Canada. And the impact of these changes is expected to be massive. Just this year, it is expected that 7,000 temporary visas could be cancelled due to these new rules, leaving the fate of over lakhs of Indian students, workers and 3 lakh tourists hanging in the balance. With the Canadian leadership race on, only time will tell whether the next administration will bring any relief for students, especially students from India, or should Indian students now look elsewhere to pursue further studies. Disha Bagchi for NDTV.
With that, it's a wrap from me. News updates continue right here on NDTV.
I like making sure I've got all the right tools for the job. And now that I'm 50, that means looking after the life I've built, protecting my lot if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over-50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0808 143 4733 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
This baby bear is terrified. Torn from her mother's paws at a tender age. They will force her to live alone in a tiny, filthy cage, like so many bears driven mad by loneliness, rubbing their wounds raw against the bars, suffering cruelly day after day, year after year, just for people's entertainment. Four Paws found little Potap crammed into a tiny, squalid cage. He'd been there for almost 9 years, lonely and isolated. There are so many more young bears who need your help. Please call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month to help rescue them. Every month, your £2 could help us free more bears, help give bears the veterinary care they need, and help them live happy, healthy lives in the freedom of our natural sanctuaries. Call 0800 038 0455 or text CUB3 to 78866 and give £2 a month and help Four Paws free bears from agonising torture. Please, don't leave these bears to suffer for a single day more.
बड़े-बड़े देशों में छोटी-छोटी बातें होती रहती है. Just move on, just move.
Rapid fire questions that my team has given, and they're also in the same age group, of almost in that same age group that you cater to the most. And they have said that Ankur must reply in one quick line.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Which is entrepreneurship or mentorship?
Oh, entrepreneurship, any day.
Success or happiness?
Happiness.
Risk taking or playing it safe?
Oh, risk taking, any day.
Building a company or building a personal brand?
Building a company, for sure.
Big ideas or small, sustainable steps?
Small, sustainable steps.
Would you rather face criticism from peers or customers?
Customers, any day.
Work-life balance or hustle culture?
Work-life balance.
I thought that was a close one. But yes. In your early career, struggling with failure or enjoying quick wins?
No, struggling with failure.
Rift with Ashneer Grover. I will give you 2 sentences for this, not one.
I can't explain it. That's the only sentence I have. I've never met him. I don't know him. I don't know what's up with him, but I wish him the best.
But what was it? Public fallout, or would you have preferred a private resolution?
No, I will respond if I know what the genesis is, but I'll be dumb if I'm just responding to something that's thrown in thin air.
You never reached out to him to ask what's happening?
No, of course. I don't know him. I have no contact with him. I've never met him. So I don't know what's happening. So it's all speculation. And the media house is like, oh, do you want to respond? Like, what? Respond to what, bro? I don't even know what happened. Okay. Because I have no idea. And I certainly don't take any of this to heart. It doesn't inflect me. My life is just so gainful, couldn't care less.
Finally, would you rather mentor an aspiring entrepreneur or work alongside them in a startup?
Oh, that's a...
From interesting tech startups to industry-leading companies, politics, sports, culture, curry, cricket. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Like me, if you too thrive on interesting conversations, this is a show you cannot miss. Watch this space to know more about all matters and all people that make Britain what it is today. Out of Britain, with me, Radhika Iyer.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice, bringing you intelligent and insightful news from India and beyond. From geopolitics and diplomacy to economic shifts, migrations, tech disruptions, and the stories of our diaspora. We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, Your new home for global news is here.
Hello everyone, this is The Last Word and I'm Maria Shakil. Actor Preeti Zinta is caught in a political crossfire. Congress's Kerala unit has urged the actor to present proof to refute reports that she gave her social media account to the BJP to get an 18 crore loan written off, while also asking her to raise her voice for depositors who lost money. The actor was quick to call out the ex-post as vile gossip and clickbait, adding that she had fully paid back the loan a decade ago. In further development in the exchange between the party and the actor, Congress asked her for proof that she has paid off the loan. Quote unquote, "We are standing with the depositors who lost their savings," is what the Congress said. And even as the Congress versus Zinta played out, the Economic Offences Wing issued summons to 6 companies that conducted the audit of the new India Cooperative Bank from 2019 to 2024, adding very clearly that this has nothing to do with Preeti Zinta case per se. That's what sources say. That brings us to the question that I ask on the show tonight. This isn't the first time, perhaps won't be the last. Why are celebrities soft targets is what we ask today. And joining me on the show, Kunika Sadanand is an actor-producer. We also have Sanjana Galrani, Nasir Abdullah, Indian actor. Professor K. Baby is Congress spokesperson and Utsav Bains is lawyer of the Supreme Court. Professor Baby, the question here is that is the Congress taking this issue too far?
Yeah, Congress is a responsible political party. So we don't want to run in between. We want to raise the concern of the people. We want to stand with the people. We want to stand with those people who have lost their deposits in that Indian cooperative society or Indian cooperative bank. So we are standing on our allegation regarding the Indian cooperative bank return of 18 crores of debt of Preeti Zinta. So our allegation is based on facts, and it's not baseless, or it is not proofless, or it is not fake. It is completely based on a report which was published on indiancooperative.com. It is an official website, and it's linked to many of the official cooperative societies which is funded by the government of India. And in 2020, the
while your concerns are valid, even we are standing with the depositors. My question is, why bring in Preeti Zinta?
Yes, because of this is not the first incident of any kind of celebrities who his loans are written off, and ordinary people is suffering because of
no, but there is no basis to this charge. My question is there a proof or an evidence on the basis of which the Congress party has put out that tweet? Or is this just about getting that attention because you know that this is a celebrated superstar? If you talk about it, talk about her, then you get the clickbait response. Kanika?
Absolutely right. That is what I will start off my, my part with. That any celebrity is a soft target. And not only are they soft targets, you get a lot of traction because of them. Yes. And it's really sad at what I've been a congressee, but I'm feeling really sad to see how Congress is slowly getting disintegrated or degrading itself every day. I mean, if you have proof, did you report to the RBI governor Did you take any legal action? I'm definitely, I think there's got to be some legal action. You can't just go on Twitter and write things. And does anybody really care about somebody's about defaming somebody? Do they care about what they're saying? And this is, I just feel that, politicians have so much other work. Come on, talk about jobs, talk about industrialization, talk about so many. Why are you targeting? And this is not your job. This is not your job. Your job is to go to the right forum and get it addressed. And I'm not vouching for Preeti Zinta, though I know she's a person of, big integrity and whatever I've known of her. I'm not saying, I believe Sucheta Dalal has brought out this information, which is, I don't know if it's been verified or not. Sucheta also is a very responsible journalist. But this is bad that they are using this and saying that BJP is operating her social hand. What will BJP get by operating her social hand? I don't understand. This is stupidity, absolutely.
And what is apparent here, Utsav, is that this is defamatory in nature.
Yes.
That without any evidence, if you are leveling an allegation of this nature against Preeti Zinta, or for that matter, any actor, this is pure defamation.
True, this is pure defamation, and the issue is that by the time Preeti Zinta might file a defamation suit, but by the time that will be proved, it will be 5 to 10 years, and by that time everyone would have forgotten about the story, and there will not be even a small byline about that she won the defamation case. Now the issue is much larger. Social media today has become a platform of slander, hate, misinformation, and at times we've seen that even judges of the High Court and Supreme Court, and even in the Chief Justice of India has been, there have been tolls on our judges, etc. So, it creates a atmosphere of misinformation. Now, how to deal with it? The only way to deal with it, the Western countries are dealing with it, is that you have a timeline action. For example, someone writes on a social media about ABCD. Now, that person goes to the court. If the court decides this in time, in 6 months, that court decides whether that person has to, be guilty under the criminal defamation or the civil defamation whatsoever. The public memory is absolutely fresh, and the message goes loud and clear. No one will dare. So there has to be a sense of, the impunity with which social media is being misused, and individuals are being targeted. That has to end, and that can only end if there is a punitive action. And there has to be a reform in law. It is much needed. We've seen how the institution of Supreme Court, High Court, are being targeted unfairly.
Is this also some kind of, the perils of social media, as we speak about Nasir Abdullah, that on social media, the parties aren't really, or anybody, expecting responsibility is expecting too much there. And invariably what's happening is that this kind of fact-checking, which has been done by Preeti Zinta, the Congress party continues with its campaign against that.
Yeah, so I agree with most of the people who seem to defend her, and I think it's fine. The only thing is, there are a few of the facts here that they cannot be ignored. Preeti Zinta apparently did take a loan worth the amount they're saying, 18 crores and stuff. And she apparently, according to her, she paid it back. They are saying that she didn't, and she had a waiver. It was waived off, like they have also done with Vijay Mallya and others, I guess. I don't know how it's working. But anyway, the point is, there is a simple way. I think they have sent it because they may bring the proof later. They will bring it slowly. First, they will throw in a bombshell. Then they will bring in the evidence. So if they have evidence, it will work. Hang on. Don't jump the gun. It's okay.
Right way
hang on. I know you have a point. Hang on. I am saying you and also Kunika and Maria do not know the truth. We are going to find out. So maybe because they have some evidence, they will bring that out later. I'm saying
who will bring out the evidence? The Congress party will bring out the evidence.
That's not the way to do it.
Okay. Here's another thing I know. The people who have said this about her, are also saying if she had control of her social media account, why didn't she speak about the immense amount of stuff that went through, the wrestlers problem, the lady wrestlers, the Hathras, the this, the that. She never, that is what they are saying. That's what they are saying.
How are the two even related?
I'm not defending them.
I'm sorry.
Nasir Abdullah, how are the two even related? It's her discretion, the issues she wants to speak on.
Exactly.
The
Exactly.
The Congress party will not decide that.
The social issue.
Yeah, the bank may have evidence. One thing is clear, she took a loan. And then the next thing that has
No,
to be
she is not
clarified
denying
and
that
give the
either.
evidence. Yeah, so she's saying she's paid. If they can prove it that she didn't pay it, and then they were
She has
some
already said that she has paid it
Why
off.
is the Congress asking
I am
her for
trusting
proof?
her.
Are they the
I'm
right
trusting
forum
her.
I mean,
to ask?
But they may
No, but
have
why
more
is the
evidence.
Congress saying, come up with the proof? Who are they? Congress has to, it has to be a correct forum.
I want to make a point here.
Yeah, that's
We
another
have the
story.
letter
Even here,
submitted
this
by
is
the
not the forum
ex-employees
to
of the
talk
bank
about
with the
it.
RBI. We have
We
this
should
the
be
letter
talking-
submitted by
they-
the ex-employees of the bank with the RBI.
That will come.
We have letter
That
with
may
us.
happen.
One moment, Nasir Abdullah, one moment. My limited point, Nasir Abdullah, listen.
Clearly written in that letter.
Mr. Baby, my limited point is that is the Congress party the authority to seek that explanation from Preeti Zinta?
Not at
She
all.
is saying that she repaid the loan 10 years back.
No.
But this letter is written
Are you
in
the Reserve Bank of
2020.
India or the investigating
Letter by
agency? Are you the
ex-employees
economic
of the
offences
bank.
wing here?
The ex-employees of the
Who has given you this power?
2020 to the Reserve Bank.
Mr.
In
Baby,
that letter is clearly
Let's
There are
be
bigger
clear.
issues.
Your outrage is a misplaced outrage. Mr. Baby, your
And this is
outrage
not
is a
your
case of
job.
a misplaced outrage. Go ahead.
Because it is the responsibility of the political
Sanjana.
party. As a political party, it is the
Sanjana.
responsibility
One
of the
second,
Indian
see, I would like to
Congress.
come in here.
No,
If the
my
professor
question is,
gentleman will
who are you to
screaming, then we
seek
can have a
accountability
conversation.
from a celebrity
No, one second.
on
If
a
the
public
professor
platform?
gentleman,
Go ahead,
if the
Sanjana.
professor gentleman can stop screaming, Mariam, I need to
should be
make
the
a
role
point
models.
here.
Go ahead, Sanjana.
I was listening to you long enough. Sir, can I talk? Sir, can I talk?
Yes.
Sir, do you have any document about what you are talking right now?
Okay, let's
have
have
you
Mr.
given
Baby
any
on the other
document to NDTV?
window, please.
Have you given any written document to NDTV? Okay, so this is a transaction which has to be reversed, which is pending. This is just a particular bow and arrow that you're just dispensing in the air to the chest of a celebrity because she will not respond to you and because you can do it single-handedly from one side and become a hero over here. Do you have any evidence of what you're talking? You're tarnishing a woman just because she's a celebrity, just because you can just score some cookies over here and put your collars up for your Congress party. Fine, I don't belong to any party. I'm not a BJP, I'm not a Congress. What is the evidence that you have? Do you have any written document here? Are you from CBI? are you from CID?
Yes, we have the documents. We have the documents of
Who gave you
ex-employees
the,
letter
who
to
gave you the
RBI.
authority?
The ex-employees
you
of the
the
bank, they have
authority?
written a letter
What
to the
rights do you
RBI.
have?
In that letter,
What-
they clearly mentioned the name of Preeti Zinta.
What rights do you have? Who
88
gave you
crores
the
of
human
rupees have
rights?
been ripped off
Are you
by
a
that
judge?
bank.
Are you
It
a
is
Supreme
because
Court
of
judge?
these huge
Are you a High
liabilities,
Court judge?
bank is
Are you
collapsing
a
now.
police
Now
officer?
the bank is under the scanner of RBI.
Are you
February 14 onwards, the bank is under
there's
the
no
scanner
point
of
screaming.
RBI.
So you
Nobody
don't have
is
to
able to
scream.
understand what you're
So
talking
you don't have to
about.
scream.
Who gave you the authority in the
Maria,
country to go
Maria,
and
can I come
question
in?
a celebrity? Who gave you the authority? Are you from the police concerns? Do you have the rights? Do you have a written FIR? Do you have the proof that she has done something like this?
Nobody
There's no
has
document.
anything.
You have
Nobody
no
has
rights
anything.
to ruin
May I come
anybody's
in? May I come in,
reputation
Maria,
on
please?
basis of imagination.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have no rights. If
I
this
have-
was your
yes.
daughter or your
Kanika,
I
mother,
have
would
two
you
points
say
to
do
Okay,
this?
make here.
Sanjana,
Just 2
Sanjana,
points.
You
let
have
Kanika
absolutely
speak.
no
Sanjana.
evidence.
I am in
Just
complete
can't believe
agreement
a
with
lady.
you, Sanjana.
You're just
The problem is
destroying the
that
name of a
invariably
lady
celebrities
without
are
any
used because you
evidence.
want to make an example out of
If
them.
this was
This
your-
is what
for
is
your
happening
money,
even in this
that.
case. Yes, go ahead.
Sanjana,
Kanika.
Can Sanjana let me speak?
Kanika.
Sanjana, please, can I speak?
Yeah.
So I have 2 points to make here. A, if Mr. Baby says that they have read this somewhere or it's on a public platform, then they should ask the concerned authority to give them answers, not Preeti Zinta. Secondly, let's say that, I mean, this defamation that is happening is not only towards the celebrities, but even on the Twitter and social media, people are defaming each other so much, including political parties. They're talking such nonsense. Who's checking that? And this I'm saying as non-partisan, both Congress and BJP, they are throwing up slurs at each other all the time. That is what has to be checked also. Because when you allow, when the leader, the trickle-down effect is there, when the leaders behave like this, the public is going to behave like this. And so sad that the Congress party workers of Kerala are doing this when they have a lot of issues to handle of their own. Mr. Tharoor might be leaving your party, sir. So you please handle that. Don't worry about Preeti Zinta. There's a forum that it can be addressed. You write the letter. Have you written one single letter? Have you written anything to them, asking them for explanation? You're asking Preeti Zinta. Who are you? Who are you to ask Preeti Zinta?
Professor Baby, perhaps Kanika has some hard facts
she has to criticize the authorities of that website. That website has released the report against Preeti Zinta.
It's not even
I will clearly tell you the name of the website. But the IndianCooperative.com. Why Preeti Zinta is not mentioning anything about that website?
Is this a verified
or
website?
against
I will show you
that
500 websites which will show 500
She is
allegations.
criticizing you.
Today's state
They
cannot
are
rely on
Why
websites.
she believe in clickbait?
Even they are surviving
She
on
is not saying
clickbait,
any
sir.
word
People who are running
against
websites,
or against
Baby.
that
they don't
website.
even have an office. They don't even
Mr.
belong to the
Baby,
media. I'll show you
even
500
those kind of
websites which have
websites are
500.
depending on clickbait. Trust me. They have viewership, and today you're talking about them on a national channel. They've used
Madam,
Preeti Zinta as a clickbait. Did you verify it? Is it a verified website? Is it a government website? Is it a banking website?
Employees have written a letter to the RBI. Madam, first of all, you told me that there was any official document. It's an official document, the letter. Sent to RBI.
So write to the RBI to give you answers.
Yeah, with the
Don't
RBI,
ask Preeti
the
Zinta.
director of the
Don't
RBI.
ask Preeti. In public interest, write to the RBI to give you answers. Don't ask Preeti Zinta.
No,
Sorry,
first
sir.
of all, tell
You're
the
barking
Preeti
up the
Zinta.
wrong stream. Ask, why did you... Whether Preeti Zinta support...
Get the evidence. Get the evidence.
Prime Minister...
She is back here. Don't swear it off.
Mr.
Get the evidence.
Mr. Baby,
We are challenging her. We are challenging her. We are challenging Preeti Zinta.
Make a complaint. Make a police
report. Don't swear it off 10 years back.
Sir, if you repeat one word 5 times, it's not going to change the argument, sir. Please, allow me.
Okay.
Sir, if you have... No, sir. So, sorry. I just have to say again, I'm repeating myself as an advocate. If you have any evidence, or if it's come on a website, please ask the RBI or the banking authorities to verify this. Ask them to give you answers. They will ask Preeti Zinta to give information. They will find out what the loan is. You cannot ask Preeti Zinta on a public platform and say, because you like PM Modi, because you've been doing handling your social media, you think BJP has no other work?
Would you then say, Sanjana, that there is this, some kind of collective obsession with punishing public figures?
Absolutely. This is just clearly making a person a scapegoat to make your presence felt. Firstly, the person who is sitting and complaining here, he has no rights and authority. He might be in the biggest post in Congress, BJP, or whichever party. It doesn't matter to me. But he has no legal rights to question. He has absolutely no legal rights. So forget about him questioning. And on top of that, question something which is just a rumor in the air, which is written on some XYZ website.
And this is invasion of
news portal websites. Kunika, let me talk. Kunika, let me talk. These newspaper websites don't even have an office. You just find some spammers sitting on a laptop and publishing some rubbish. One person published, and then according to this source, according to that source, 100 people publish, and then what happens to the celebrity? It's happened to me. It's disgusting. Without being at fault, just because I'm a celebrity, I've been a scapegoat. And if you go out of your house, people will be like, is she a fraud? People start doubting your personality.
Yes.
Is this why I worked hard?
Nasir Abdullah,
I'm a celebrity. Is this why I worked hard?
Yes, that's right. Nasir Abdullah, the point being made by both the women who are actors is valid. Yeah. I mean, they are a soft target, and they are being needlessly targeted because they realize that
hard we worked all our lives.
No. If the Congress wants an answer, they should seek an answer from another political party, which is the BJP here, rather than seeking an answer from Preeti Zinta.
Absolutely, I agree with you. 1 minute, madam. The question is addressed to me. The question is addressed to me. Thank you. So here's the deal. I agree with the ladies what they're saying, and there seems to be the issue about attacking the celebrities because it gets you the brownie points and all that. What I'm saying is, often enough, it has happened that somebody makes an accusation or throws out a piece of information, like it happened in the Bofors and other stuff, and about Adani as well, whatever. The point is, they start with that. There's a lot of hula-boo. Then later, if they are not able to provide evidence, which they have to, that thing dies a slow death or a quick death. So maybe this is the plan. They first throw out this information, and then maybe they've got something on her because it is there, and they will bring it out slowly. That's how they do it with a lot of people. Arvind Kejriwal, I was told 8 months before his arrest that he will be arrested. I was told by some news agencies, they all knew it. So it's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I'm not saying Preeti Zinta is guilty.
My limited point here is that if a political party is seeking accountability of a particular incident which has happened, where the RBI is of course now investigating it, the Economic Offences Wing is investigating it, money of a lot of people is at stake, they should be seeking accountability from the right authority.
Yes.
And Preeti Zinta is not that authority, is my point here that I'm making to Professor Baby.
True. She's one of them. She's one of them. She's one of them.
Professor
Small fry, but she's one of them.
Professor Baby, do you think the Congress got it wrong? It may have been somebody operating their social media handle and they realized that this is a great story to just latch on to, and that's what they did. Without realizing the implications, and also not really factoring in here.
Celebrities are not someone who are above the laws of the land. All are equal before the law. It is common man, it is celebrities, all are equal before the law. Why? Only some common people are suffering because of this.
Instead of going on Twitter and questioning a celebrity and tarnishing her image.
And this common people.
There's a right way to do it. There's a law and order in the country.
No, Professor Baby, one moment. Let him speak. Let him
all
speak,
the
Sangana.
lifetime savings of these ordinary people were lost because of the bank has collapsed now, because of these huge loans of these celebrities who have written off. Vildasina is not the one incident. We have the names of other persons whose loans were written off by the authorities of the bank.
It is about, if it is about a banking fraud,
and respect the law
your
and order
concerns
in our
are valid, but
we have
that's not for that. For that, the RBI is responsible. The banking no. It is not Preeti Zinta's responsibility.
It is not.
See, there's a department for everything in the country. You cannot take it in your hand, that too on Twitter. This is very funny and this is really destroying the
I just want to, Maria, I want to add one thing.
Yes, please, go ahead, Kanika.
And RBI is investigating all the fraud in
Mr. Baby, sir, please.
RBI investigate. Why are you investigating?
Mr. Baby, my name is Kunika. She asked me to speak.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Baby, I want to say to all of you here and to your audience who are watching this, thank God it was Preeti Zinta, who's a strong woman and spoke up. Do you all realize what you would do if it was somebody who did not have the gall or the gumption or the balls to take the system on? Because she's done it in the past and she has the guts to do it. The other person, if you had tarnished them like this and if they had paid off their loan, they would probably be hanging from some ceiling fan right now. Do you realize your responsibility, Mr. Baby? You go and ask the questions from the
once.
Why are you putting it on social media? Do you have...
Ask Preeti
she was
to produce evidence that her loans were written off 10 years back. She's claiming that her loans were written off 10 years back.
Sorry,
sir.
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk enters this discussion now.
Going to decide how our laws and accountability are going to happen. What is this?
No, my question is, why has Elon Musk entered this discussion, Konika?
Because Twitter belongs to him. Okay? And he says it's the rightful place to put it out to get the facts out. So now Elon Musk will get facts out for our country. Is that the way we're going to work?
No. The problem here is that a political party, the handle of the Congress party in Kerala is not behaving responsibly. If they want answers, they should ask the finance ministry. If they want answers, they should ask the Reserve Bank of India, not Preeti Zinta here. That is the point here. And this is defamation.
Any private person.
No, there is no evidence here. This is just being clickbaity, as Preeti rightly points out. Yes, Utsav, 30 seconds to you. And then the last word to the two women, 30 seconds to both of them. But yes, Utsav, quickly, 30 seconds.
Yes, Mara, let me declutter. Whoever has an issue can write a representation to the RBI.
Yes.
If he's not satisfied with the RBI, go to the High Court, go to the Supreme Court. Going to social media and saying unsubstantiated facts is prima facie defamation to my mind.
Yes.
And it is important, it is high time that there should be a legal reform so that defamatory statements that actually create havoc in other person's life, as the panelists were mentioning, they stop. There has to be timely punishment or timely decision,
Yes.
whether that is truthful or
Absolutely.
not. Absolutely.
I'm of the opinion that this has gone too far. And especially, you know, there has to be some kind of responsible conduct on a part of a political party also. If they are taking on the actors, celebrities, the manner in which it has happened. Yes, Sanjana, 30 seconds, quickly.
If there's anyone representing somebody as big as the Congress party, please behave in your intuitions and be well behaved and mannerful, because remember, you're attacking on a woman without any evidence, without any rights, without any social responsibility. You're damaging and destroying somebody's life. God forbid something happens to her. This is mental harassment. This is mental harassment, and it's completely illegal.
Absolutely.
And it should be condemned.
One tweet of this nature can destroy reputation of someone who is in the eye. You know, she is in public eye, has been an actor for several decades. Yes, Kunika, 30 seconds, quickly. Let's wrap it up.
First of all, I feel sorry for Mr. Baby because today is outnumbered. Sorry, sir. But I just hope this will be an introspective
It's a matter of number, madam. It's not a matter
Sir, let me, sir. My name is Kunika, sir. My name is Kunika, sir.
You cannot make allegations like this.
Sanjana, 1 second. So, sir, first I was expressing my, what you call apologies to you, sir. Accepted gracefully. So, what I'm saying that I hope will be responsible in future, and not target not only a celebrity, any private individual. Go to the right forum, sir. Use your brains. Why is Congress disintegrating? Why they have no intuition now? Sanjana was saying, check your intuition. I'm sorry to say, the intuition's gone out of the window. What is wrong with you all? And if there's somebody that did it on social media unknowingly, I mean, without knowing the leaders knowing, then sack him right now.
Madam, very sorry to say that you are shielding someone. She is doing something correct. You are shielding a person who is doing correct.
No, nobody is being shielded here. Nobody is being shielded. If the Congress party indeed was very serious about raising this issue, then they should have raised it with the official handle, which is All India handle, not one state handle. All right, thank you so much for joining us and participating in this discussion. That's all from me on this edition of The Last Word. And Vishnu is right here in the studio.
Well, Maria, I can assure you my program will not be quite as heated as this, but it is important. The French president in Washington says that we could be just a couple of days, weeks away from a truce in Ukraine, this at a time when Trump has backed Russia in a United Nations draft proposal. In fact, 2 proposals at the United Nations. Think about that, the US backing Russia on Ukraine. Where is the world headed to? We're going to try and find out after this short break.
I'm a simple man. Family, friends, and a bit of footy. The usual, Jules, thanks. Now I'm in my 50s, things are getting a little more complicated. Look, no one's getting any younger. Retirement's peeking around the corner, and with the mortgage nearly done, I wanted to make sure my family was really looked after, if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years, with Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team and they'll chat you through your options in just one phone call. And their claims process is really straightforward, so your loved ones will be looked after.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period. Everyone else makes you wait up to 2 years. Get covered in minutes with no annoying trips to the doctor with fixed monthly payments. Prices start at just £4.42 a month. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0800 470 4493 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Wouldn't life be so much easier if you could control your blinds at the touch of a button? With Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, there's no chains, cords or wiring because these stylish blinds are driven by a rechargeable power pack. New Ultra Smart Blinds from Appeal, the intelligent solution for home shading.
Make this Eid sweeter with Royal Sweets. Delight in authentic treats with your loved ones. Order now at royalsweets.co.uk.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma.
but so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. They rip and tear away at his eyes. Pomelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 038 4926 and giving £1 a week to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 038 4926. Text C13 to 82727 or go online and give just £1 a week now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
Quidco gives you cashback every time you shop on over 5,000 brands. It always pays to Quidco. Sign up and start saving today. Visit quidco.com.
Love a good deal? Try free to play Deal or No Deal, only at Tombola. There's up to £1,000 to be won. Get that good deal feeling. Open for fun.
Underway. Is the Congress MP Shashi Tharoor ready to leave the party? Amidst rift rumours, he posts a picture with Union Minister Piyush Goyal. The Congress calls for a meeting of senior Kerala leaders. The Mahakumbh in Prayagraj comes to an end. A big rush of devotees to take a holy dip on the last day of Mahashivratri. Authorities say there are lots of preparations in place. Well, lots of key developments on hopefully the road to peace in Ukraine. Will the war come to an end? Let's summarize the key developments which have taken place, and then also very significantly what the French President Emmanuel Macron has said in the last hour or so, because that's important, because he seems to have a roadmap which he's conveyed in Washington to the US President. So in terms of the larger issues, the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky may soon visit Washington to finalize a minerals deal with Trump. This follows intense negotiations and pressure from the US administration. So what is the minerals deal? Well, the deal grants the US access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. It's a trade-off for continued military aid against Russia. Trump has reportedly floated a specific $500 billion figure as compensation for US aid, which he claims reflects past support. Now, in all of this, very significantly, the US has voted with Russia at the United Nations. Think about that. The US has aligned with Russia in voting on 2 UN resolutions concerning Ukraine. On Monday, both nations rejected a European-supported UN General Assembly resolution denouncing Russia's war in Ukraine, and later in the UN Security Council, they jointly endorsed a US proposed resolution urging a quick end to the conflict without naming Russia as aggressor or recognizing Ukraine's territorial sovereignty. Will European nations accept this? Well, they may not have much of a choice. Now, Putin's offer to Trump. Putin, meanwhile, has proposed a mineral deal of his own, including access to Russia's vast reserves. This aims to outbid Ukraine and sway Trump's support. So that's the overall story, but what about the French proposal? Well, in an interview to Fox News following his talks with the US President, the French President Emmanuel Macron has said that he does see a path which could result in peace between Russia and Ukraine. The sequential steps announced by Mr. Macron include the following: a start of immediate negotiations with Russia, a truce which could be arrived at in the weeks to come, detailed negotiations which take place while this truce process is going on. The US, Macron says, will have a deal on rare minerals that gives the US, Trump, a lasting stake in Europe. That's what European nations want. This would be followed by a proper peace treaty with Russia. But guarantees, Macron says, are required if Russia ends up violating this treaty. Now, there is a French-UK proposal to send soldiers in some locations of Ukraine to maintain peace in the area. But this must be backstopped by the United States if that is required. Now, Macron claims several European countries are willing to be a part of this strategy which he's discussed, but he says that there must be a strong message from the United States to ensure that Russia accepts everything and does not resume attacks. So that's what the overall situation is. Are we well on the way to a lasting peace? Well, I'm now joined by David K. Johnston. He's a senior journalist in the United States, a Pulitzer Award-winning journalist, and also Dan Morrison, Deputy Editor World in Washington at USA Today. Thank you both very much for being with us. Mr. Johnston, let me come to you first. It's interesting what Macron has said in just the last little while, where he says that there could be a truce within the next couple of weeks. He says he's conveyed this to Trump as well. Are you as optimistic?
No, not at all, Vishnu. The proposals you're seeing come as the Russians are collapsing militarily. Russia is now using donkey carts to deliver munitions and food to the front lines, as a number of journalists have documented. The Russian military war material has been utterly destroyed, and casualties on the Russian side are at 800,000. That's twice what the U.S. casualties were in World War II. The current rate of more than 1,000 dead Russian soldiers per day, they'll reach 1 million come May. So it's really Putin here who is desperately suing for relief, and he has his friend Donald Trump, who has said he trusts Putin at his word. He doesn't trust American intelligence agencies. He trusts Vladimir Putin at his word, trying to help him. This is an astonishing and disturbing development for the U.S. to align itself with the Kremlin and against liberty.
If you use the words astonishing development, and this is to you, Dan Morrison, I found one of the most astonishing developments being Trump and the United States backing Russia in the United Nations in 2 proposals. Where does that leave Europe?
It leaves Europe looking for a seat at the table, and that's why the French president made his visit yesterday and why Keir Starmer is coming soon. Europe wants in, and the Trump administration is saying, what have you got to offer? What they're offering is peacekeepers, but those peacekeepers come with with an asterisk. They want peacekeepers with a U.S. backstop, with the might of the U.S. military as a backup for these European peacekeepers. It's unclear if the Trump administration will agree to that, but that's what Macron wants. And he's, among European leaders, he's the Trump whisperer, and that was his mission here yesterday.
Mr. Johnston, the minerals deal in Ukraine, some say that this is essentially blood money, that look, we've helped you in this war. If you want us to keep going, even for a finite period of time, you need to agree to this. Ukraine, it appears, may not have much of a choice but to accept this, right?
May well be that that's the case. Donald, whom I've covered for 36 years and written 3.5 books about, is a very transactional fellow. He has no understanding of world politics, of diplomatic issues, but what he does understand is money. And so Donald has gone with this very transactional proposal. And I'd point out that after World War II, the U.S. didn't demand reparations from Germany or Japan. Instead, the United States helped redevelop the economies of those countries to make them democratic, to ensure long-term peace. That's not how Donald sees the world. He identifies with dictators, and he has declared himself effectively to be our dictator, including the White House within the last week, putting out 3 images of Donald Trump with a crown on his head and the text, "Long live the King," which would be deeply offensive to all Americans who understand our history and our Constitution, and Donald does not understand those things.
Dan Morrison, it's one thing what Donald Trump says, but the U.S. President, J.D. Vance, has said a lot of things along similar lines in Europe, when at the Munich Security Conference, he essentially pulled the rug under the feet of European nations and said that the basic freedoms, which were the basis of which the relationship between America and Europe rests, doesn't hold true anymore. Is America serious, or is Trump serious about staying away from Europe? That's been the premise of international security for all of these decades?
The Europeans are being pushed out of the United States embrace. The incoming Chancellor of Germany has said that it's time for Europe to face facts and to understand that this administration really doesn't care what happens to Europe. Those are his words, and that Europe must consolidate and prepare to go it alone. The statements of the Vice President last week or recently amounted to almost a culture war on Europe. It was a real declaration of principles, a real declaration of this administration's rejection of what Europe believes itself to stand for and what America believed Europe stood for. There's no question. There's a big change here.
Mr. Johnson, do you expect to see a Putin-Trump summit anytime soon? Do you think that that's something that might happen?
Well, Donald has said he wants to meet with Putin, and he will arrange a meeting with him. So I would expect there will be such a meeting. And I won't be surprised in the least if no one is in the room but Putin, Trump, and Putin's chosen translator. Trump did this in 2018 in Helsinki, having no one on the American side in the room. So we have no idea what's going on between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump.
The Republican strategist joins us at this stage. Mr. Klink, how would you respond to those who say that Donald Trump may want an end to the war, and that I think everybody is agreed upon, but the way he's doing it and the search for instant solutions may not be in sync with the reality of what's happening in Europe?
Well, a couple observations. One, notice how the conversation has changed since January 21st. We're now talking about not, is Ukraine going to win this war, which was a foolish wish from the beginning. They were never going to win this war. Excuse me. That being said, what you're seeing domestically in Europe with Frederick Merz saying that they need independence from the U.S., that's rich with 50,000 American troops currently stationed on German soil, guaranteeing their alleged safety. The bottom line is that Europe has coasted and has been on essentially a free ride from the United States for decades. They're not meeting their NATO commitments in terms of funding, with rare exception. They need to up that defense. So hearing, Frederick Merz talk about independence, that's just campaign rhetoric designed to bolster domestic support for last Sunday's election. I will add, though, that the domestic support to continue throwing money at Ukraine is not there in the United States. There will not be a U.S. troop guarantee. And if the Brits and the French want to put troops on the ground, let them do it. But they're not going to do it under the auspices of NATO because there won't be an Article 5 commitment from the United States to backstop. So I do think the best bet that the Ukrainians have on a going forward basis is to cut an economic deal with the United States so that we capture some of their rare earth minerals, which we certainly need and Ukraine has ample amounts of. And look, the Biden administration, again, they started funding this effort. Support has consistently dropped month over month since the war started. And, just the other day, I was looking at the maps of the war from the second attack in 2022 through to today. Essentially what happened is the Russians attacked, they gained territory, and the Ukrainians have pushed back on a very, very small amount. So with respect to the speaker before who said that Russia is losing, it's World War I all over again. You're measuring quote unquote victory in yards and miles, not in massive amounts of territory. Russia could continue to do this forever. And the only thing that's happening right now is that Ukrainian young men and women are dying, as are Russian men and women. Russia has more bodies to throw at this. And to be honest, for Russia, losing 1 million people, that's a blink of an eye for the Russians who lost, 20,000 or 20 million in World War II. So, look, the U.S. is committed to Russia. We've been there since 1945. or excuse me, the U.S. is committed to Europe. We've been there since 1945. But I do think that the relationship has changed. Europe's got to step up and meet the moment, and the U.S. is just not going to be the open checkbook for Europeans.
David K. Johnston, would you like to respond to that?
Well, I think that there's some truth in what Mr. Klink says, but the fact is that when the Russians are so stripped of war materiel that they're down to having donkey carts deliver war material to the front, when they're losing between 1,100 and 1,600 soldiers a day, not casualties, but deaths, and the Russian fleet has had to withdraw to the far end of the Black Sea, it's Russia that needs the truce here, not Ukraine. Now, we wouldn't be here had the Biden administration been much more aggressive in defending liberty after the Russians, in violation of the treaty they signed in 1993, illegally invaded Ukraine. And to hear a Republican strategist not stand up for liberty, but instead side with a dictator who's hostile to the United States is an astonishing development in America. It's absolutely reflective of what's happened to the Republican Party, whereas Mitt Romney, the party's 2012 presidential candidate, said recently, millions of people in my party, the Republican Party, don't believe in democracy. And I think that's correct. And I think Mr. Klink's statements show that he's for might and power, not for liberty all around the world and democracy.
I'm also joined by Fred Ware. He's a senior journalist based in Moscow. He's with the Christian Science Monitor. Mr. Ware, thanks very much for being with us. You've seen the developments in the last 48, 72 hours or so. Where does Putin now stand with the path to a peace process? We've heard what America has to say. We've only got a couple of statements from the Kremlin. Where is Russia placed at the moment?
Well, first of all, let me speak to this question of who's winning the war. I mean, I sit here in Moscow. I do my shopping. I live in the civilian economy, which is quite unaffected by sanctions. And I follow the war on multiple Telegram channels, including Ukrainian ones, and everybody agrees that the Russians are pressing forward. Slowly, painfully. I don't know whether they're doing it on donkey carts or not, but if they are moving forward and the Ukrainians are falling back. There are maps which are coming from Ukrainian Telegram channels, which will show you that. The Ukrainians are losing the war. Slowly, they're fighting valiantly. I think they deserve respect, but the Russians are winning, and all the mathematics suggest that they will continue to do so. As for Putin, I think he's proceeding. I think in the Kremlin they're very, very happy with these developments. I mean, very quickly, a lot of things have broken their way. I don't think they count on Trump being consistently pro-Russian. I don't think he is. I think he's tactically trying to get ahead of reality. And the reality is the Russians are winning. Ukraine is losing. Trump doesn't want to own defeat. He wants to be the framer of a peace settlement that's profitable for him as he sees it, for America. And as long as the Russians will play along, I think he will be fine with that. What the Russians get out of this, and they have gotten it already, it's a done deal pretty much, is an across-the-board normalization of relations with the United States. You have to remember there was scorched earth virtually since 2014, so over a decade. You know, I'm a Canadian. I live in Moscow. I can't even send a letter by post to Canada because there's no connection between the postal services. All across the board in the entire establishment of the countries, there is all the links, channels have been broken, frozen. Now all that is going to be restored. And gradually, I guess, economic relations will be restored. And somehow a peace will come out of that, which Putin has continually referred to the agreement, the aborted agreement in March, April of 2022 between Russia and Ukraine. It's pretty well known, and its basic features are Ukrainian neutrality, that is renouncing NATO membership, demilitarization, substantial Ukrainian demilitarization, and rights for Russian speakers. Russia also has made concessions in that agreement. They agreed to put Crimea up to a 15-year consultation period, to determine its status. They agreed that Ukraine can join the EU. So the Russians are clearly preparing for the existence of an independent Ukraine as long as it will not be a Western battering ram, as they see it,
Right.
a member of NATO. But
half
somehow
a second,
the Russian...
Mr. Wade, let me just keep the strike rotating, as it were. I'm running short on time. Dan Morrison, I think the worry which President Macron reflected today is that while everything that Fred says may be correct, and that maybe Russia is interested in a peace at the moment, we've seen efforts at bringing about a peace between Russia and Ukraine in the past fail. And therefore, if America doesn't backstop this, and if America isn't willing to be aggressive with Russia, then there is no real guarantee that Russia won't restart this in some way, shape, or form. Do you believe that that's what this might end up being a problem about? Can Russia be trusted?
I think part of the American case is that if we have a financial stake in Russia, if American